You're listening to Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. It's 18 plus. Make sure you check out gambleaware.org. Arsenal are our focus tonight. They've been the best team in the Premier League without question. Unbeaten in their last 17 games in all competitions. It represents their longest unbeaten run under Mikel Arteta. But their position at the top of the pile is evidence of their quality. However, they know all too well it's a very uncomfortable feeling to have Manchester City breathing down their neck. The gap at the moment sits at just 2 points, but a win over Brentford live on Talksport tonight would re-establish a healthy 5-point lead at the summit. Let's head back to the Emirates to speak to former Nottingham Forest and Newcastle defender Stuart Pearce. Stuart, you know, as good as Arsenal have been, you have to be honest, they've dropped points in 2 of the last 3, so a win tonight, as Mikel Arteta described it yesterday, absolutely vital, particularly as, albeit they came from behind to get a point at the weekend, it wasn't their greatest performance against Chelsea. Why do you think they weren't at their best at the weekend?
Well, I think you've got to give some credit to Chelsea. I think, you know, when Arsenal come to town top of the league, there's one thing that's going to stoke up a London derby a little bit more, is a chasing Chelsea team, and I think they lifted their game and then they had something to hang on to as such once they got back to parity. So, for me, I looked at it and I thought, if you're going to win the title, that ain't a bad point away from home at Chelsea. I viewed it in a slightly different manner. They didn't play particularly as well as they have been, but they've nicked a point away at Chelsea, and Chelsea are going to take points off a lot of teams this year.
Absolutely, they will. We'll continue our conversation in a moment, but don't forget, if you download the TalkSport app, you open it up, you select live games, you can easily pick the game you want to listen to this evening. At 8:15, Liverpool take on Sunderland. That's going to be live and exclusive to TalkSport 2. We've got Leeds against Chelsea at the same time on the TalkSport app. Before that, at 7:30pm, Brighton against Aston Villa, Wolves versus Nottingham Forest, and Burnley against Crystal Palace are all exclusively live on the TalkSport app. So don't miss a second of the action. We're going to have wall-to-wall live games this evening across the TalkSport network. Stuart, I did want to ask you about Mikel Merino, who got the goal at the weekend for Arsenal. Victor Gyökeres on the bench. Once again, he made a £64 million move from Sporting Lisbon in the summer. Obviously, it hasn't been the greatest start for him, but what goes through the mind of a centre-forward when they see a midfielder starting in their place?
Well, I think a lot of that is down to Arteta and his man management skills, you know, just for me, framing it with Gyökeres and saying, look, we need to settle you in, playing in England's not easy. Arsenal are a great point in case. If Thierry Henry took him a while to settle in here, everyone's fair game, you know, for a bit of settling in period. So, and he's back Merino to carry on. If he thinks he's playing reasonably well, carried on with him. And they know if they're going to be successful this year, Arsenal, it's going to be that squad situation to get them over the line. So I think man management skills and just selling it to him, look, just be patient, you know, you'll get plenty of game time.
They're definitely having to use their squad in defence at the moment. William Saliba and Gabriel missing at the moment. Piero Hincapié and Mosquera were thrown together at the weekend. Now, Arsenal face more than double the shots on target and XG against per game when they've got that centre-back pairing as compared to any of their others this season. They faced 29 shots, 10 on target in the 2 games that Mosquera and Hincapié have started together this season. And tonight they take out Jurrien Timber, one of their better defenders, of course. So how long does it take for a new back four to gel, and is it a risk for Arteta to make those changes at the back given that he's got injuries?
Well, he'll see it a risk worth taking, you know, because every time that either of one of those 2 centre-halves are out, it does create a lot of talking points, to be fair, you know, and a lot of panic sets in and around Arsenal fans, I think, if they lose either one of those. So to have a couple that have got good game time, start to work out what it's going to be like to slip in and understudy until they can dislodge either one of those 2, I think it's not a bad thing. But listen, they're so desperate. We talk about, is it a good night for Arsenal to rotate players tonight? Bottom line is you cannot afford to drop any form of points, and I think on the counter with a little bit of pace that Brentford have got up front, they're going to have to be very mindful of them too.
It's going to be a big evening from Brentford to trouble Arsenal despite the changes tonight. Intrigued to see what happens. Remember, Liverpool hosting Sunderland on Talksport 2 here at Anfield from 8:15pm, but every game we've got for you live and exclusive on the Talksport app. So download it, hit live games, and the swipe of a finger will take you to any of the 6 matches in the Premier League tonight. But your focus here is the leaders Arsenal. Can Mikel Arteta's side get back to their brilliant best, or will Brentford offer up one of the shocks of the season? Your commentary team is double League Cup winner with Nottingham Forest Stuart Pearce and Talksport's very own Sam Matterface.
Thank you very much, Hugh. Good evening, everybody. Well, Mikel Arteta called for the fans to turn up like animals, and they have been greeted as they walked out of the tunnel by one almighty roar. In order to squash the bees, the Arsenal boss wants a hungry, fierce, relentless group that are determined to hunt down their first title in 2 decades. Brentford have already taken a bite out of some of the big beasts this season, and with City and Chelsea prowling behind them, Arsenal cannot afford to drop points twice in 4 days. The Emirates has answered the call. It does feel like a bit of a bear pit tonight, and after missing the chance to go 7 points clear on Sunday, tonight Arsenal have to bare their teeth and satisfy their manager's appetite. Arsenal in red body jerseys with white sleeves and white shorts, red socks. They'll attack the goal away to our right in the first half, and Brentford all in light blue with orange trim attacking the goal away to our left. The referee's Tony Harrington, the VAR is James Bell, and this is one of 10 live games on TalkSport this midweek. This week on TalkSport, we are rattling your cage. All 10 midweek fixtures on the TalkSport app with the 50-50, the festive 50 as well. It's essential you have it on your mobile device this December. Whatever game you want, go to the Live Games tab at the bottom of the screen and you can pick whatever match you want from tonight's 6 Premier League fixtures. Stuart Pearce is here. Arsenal look like they will be king of the jungle come May, but they can't afford to gift any of the others any sort of sniff of weakness.
No, they can't. Manchester City obviously closing in on them, but I don't think they're particularly in their flow at the moment. But if you've got an Arsenal head on, you're thinking, well, sooner or later City are going to play with a better standard, and Chelsea potentially as the season goes on. So they'll want to maintain this gap, Sam.
Here is Kelleher just nudging the ball out to the far side. It was an over-ambitious pass which Christopher Iyer misses. It goes out of play. It's quickly thrown in down the left-hand side. Martinelli into the centre, looking for Ødegaard, who's breaking into the box. It's cleared away by Yarmouk and out to the far touchline. Coyote struggling with Calafiori, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our right. Tony Harrington is the referee. The VAR is James Bell. And it's not entirely full inside the Emirates Stadium tonight. There's a few empty seats in the top tier. I think the 7:30 kickoff might have caught out one or two. If you're on your way to the ground, thank you very much for lending us your ears. You might be heading towards Leeds against Chelsea or Liverpool against Sunderland right now. Remember, all of the games available on the TalkSport app tonight. Long ball forward by Kelleher, right up to Schade, who tries to flick it on to Ouattara, who looks to run in behind the Arsenal defence, but it's mopped up by the impressive Calafiori. And then Zubimendi, who has unlocked a new level in Declan Rice this season by allowing him to move even further forward up the pitch and have more freedom to attack, lays the ball back to the goalkeeper, who is David Raya tonight. The back four is White, Mosquera, Nkapie and Calafiori. Zubimendi, Rice and Ødegaard behind Madueke, Moreno and Martinelli. For Brentford, attacking the goal to our left, they have Kelleher in goal, the back three of Pinnock, Vandenberg and Ayer. Coyote and Henry are the wing-backs. Yarmouk, Janelt and Jensen in the middle, with Ouattara and Schade going forward. And Stuart Pearce, it is a slightly different Arsenal team without Gabriel and Saliba, isn't it? And those two, Nkapie and Mosquera, are going to have to be at their most alert to deal with the speed of Schade and Ouattara.
Yeah, they certainly have. And we've just seen a couple of examples there of Brentford looking to play that ball in behind, well cut out on that occasion. But I'll tell you what's important for Brentford today, and he's particularly good in the air, Schade. If they're going from back to front over distance, his ability in the air to either get hold of the ball or flick it on for his partner will be absolutely vital today.
Well, the North London noise has set the tone. Arsenal expected to come out the trap snarling and snapping, but Brentford have been fearless and unblinking in the face of even the most intimidating opponents this season. It's 0-0 after 3 minutes. The ball is on the halfway line. It's with the former Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubimendi. He plays it back to the edge of the centre circle where Nkapie, acquired from Leverkusen in the summer, finds Mosquera. He guides it back to David Raya. And then the Brentford backline all push up to the halfway line to ensure that Arsenal can't run him beyond them. And then eventually it's picked up by Martinelli, who sends Calafiori, who's getting forward over on the left-hand side, plays it against the defender Pinnock and wins the first Arsenal corner of the game.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's going to be interesting. The match-up on either side, Martinelli and Madueke up against Henry and Coyote. That'll be interesting to see whether they can get some punch Arsenal in those wide areas.
We have reporters at all of the games in the Premier League tonight, so if you want to stick with us, we'll take you around the grounds with all the action as it happens. We'll head away to Brighton, to Burnley and to Wolves in just a second, but first of all there is the first corner of the game to be taken by the impressive Declan Rice, called by the Slavia Prague manager the best set-piece taker in the world. Here he is right-footed, arcing one in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, away by Schade, comes out to Madueke on the edge of the penalty area. Down the right side of the box is Martinelli, tries to pop the ball through the legs of Jensen, commits a foul as he does so, and it's going to be a free kick on this near touchline.
Yeah, really good play there. Was that Jensen or... I'm not sure it was. I think he's
Yarmouk, actually, yeah.
Yeah, he done really well. He didn't jockey at all. He was patient, but he just roared in and took possession of the ball and induced a foul.
He's actually been integral this season under Keith Andrews. Diego Yarmouk. Let's go off to the game down at the Amex Stadium for a quick update from Ian Abrahams.
Foregone, Brighton 0, Villa 0. Remember, Villa no Martinez in goal. Bees come in for him. No chances yet at either end. Brighton 0, Villa 0.
And off to Molineux and Adam Bridge.
Wolves 0, Forest 0, 4 minutes played, no goal-mouth action as yet, and Doy had a really good chance to pop across into the box, but he let it run out of play, much to Sean Dyche's frustration. Wolves 0, Forest 0.
Brentford have gained some yardage, kicked the ball long down the left-hand side. It's gone out of play and away for a throw-in, and that means that Michael Coyote has come over towards this near side, and he'll toss in a Coyote cannon towards the near post, and it is a dangerous one which is nodded behind by Calafiori just above Aya, and it goes out for a corner. And these are two of the best dead ball teams in the league. Arsenal ranked first for shots at XG from set pieces, Brentford ranked third for XG in the same category. Arsenal did show a bit of vulnerability conceding from a corner against Chelsea without their main centre-backs, which could be a key avenue tonight for Brentford.
Yeah, it will be. I think more so from that long throw, but as we saw there with a bit of drizzle coming down, the ball's a touch slippery on the hand.
Here is the corner. This one is taken by Matthijs Jensen. Away to our left-hand side. It's whipped in towards the far post. It's a little bit too heavy for Ethan Pinnock, who was lurking with intent inside the 6-yard area, and it just swings out of play and goes out over on the far side. Let's go off to Turf Moor for the early exchanges from Mickey Gray.
That's Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 0. Two sides just settling into the game. You can see Crystal Palace trying to get Matete in behind as quick as they possibly can. Not being able to do it as of yet. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Brighton 0, Aston Villa 0, Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Each of those games is available on the Talksport app. Download it, open it up, go to the bottom right-hand corner where it says live games, and you can pick the one you want to listen to. We're here live on Talksport tonight with Brentford and Arsenal. Arsenal looking to try and stretch their lead back to 5 points at the top of the table. They had to come from behind against 10-man Chelsea at the weekend. It was a result that meant that with victory last night for Manchester City, there is currently just 2 points between the top two. And that's the closest it's been for a while. Here's Raya up into Ødegaard. A little spin and turn, and he nudges the ball to the right side. Ben White, who's making a rare appearance at right back tonight in the absence of Timber. onto Madueke, returning from injury. He slips the ball into White. A lovely ball across the 18-yard box. I thought he was going to shoot there from inside the penalty area, just down the 6-yard box side. He was probably close enough to fizz that through the 6-yard box rather than pull it back. But electing to do that meant that he just sent it into a clutch of blue Brentford shirts, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, it was a great interchange, that is for sure. But once you get into that area, I think you rightly said, a bit of violence on the ball across the face of the goalkeeper would have been the best option.
Mosquera has it just in front of the centre circle, 8 gone, 0-0. This is Talksport. We've got Alan Brazil back on breakfast with Gabby Agbonlahor tomorrow. He's got Sir Rod Stewart coming on the programme tomorrow morning. Hopefully in a good mood. He will be if Celtic beat Dundee tonight. That's one of 5 games in the Scottish Premiership that kick off at 7:45 this evening. Here is Declan Rice, moving forward towards the edge of the area. They've announced their new manager tonight, by the way, Wilfried Nancy. He has vowed to bring exciting, attacking, winning football to Parkhead. Here is Madueke, now on to White. Edge of the area is Ødegaard. Touched it back into Mosquera once again. They're camped inside the Brentford half here, Arsenal. Back to Mosquera, who's about 15 yards outside the area, looking for Zubimendi, but there's a very strong Brentford line. Almost 6 stretched across the 18-yard box at times, with 3 more stationed in front, and very difficult to pierce.
Yeah, they certainly are. As I say, they're defending in numbers. The midfield players dropping in to supplement the back line.
Here's Martinelli trying to pierce that back line with a fizzing cross from the left-hand side. His right-footed ball is headed away by Pinnock. But it's a red shirt that gets hold of it, and Arsenal continue to apply the pressure. Brentford started the week in the top half of the table. Results have altered that. They start the night in 12th, but a decent win could take them up as high as 6. It's that heavily congested at the top of the Premier League. We've got a goal down at the Amex. We'll get there in just a second. But Madueke is threatening to attack here down the right-hand side for Arsenal. Infield to Ødegaard. Ødegaard out to Rice. Rice now 7 yards back from the edge of the area. Back to Ødegaard again. Gets it onto his left foot. Looks to shoot. It's blocked by Janot. We'll go down to the Amex and hear of the first goal of the night from Talksport's Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 1, Villa 0. Corner not dealt with by Bizot in the goal for Martinez, who got injured. In fact, he didn't get anywhere near the corner, and it was forced in for close range by John Paul Van Heck. It's Brighton 1, Villa 0.
Back here it's 0-0 between Arsenal and Brentford, 0-0 Burnley, Crystal Palace, and 0-0 Wolves against Nottingham Forest. You're listening to Arsenal against Brentford on Talksport with Sky Sports, and don't forget, with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Leeds versus Chelsea live tonight. Search Now Sports. Here is Gabriel Martinelli, who guides the ball into the centre of the Brentford half. A little bit of grease on the pitch from a little rainstorm we had just prior to kick-off here. Lovely back heel by Madueke into White, floats across in towards Marino, who arrives and heads the ball down and celebrates the first goal of the night. 10 minutes gone, Mikel Merino at it again. It's another terrific header. It's his 5th goal of the season, but he is a major asset for this team. And in the absence of a big number 9, Mikel Merino is certainly stepping into the shoes. He is relishing in the role, and Arsenal are already in front.
Well, absolutely top quality play on the wing by Madueke. He's received a lot of the ball early on, and him and White looking to get an overload out here. Lovely little reverse pass with a back heel from Madueke, and I think the ball was just tossed up into by White into the far near post area, and the movement of Moreno was what was crucial on this. He was the one on the move with a static defence and a great header down into the turf and beyond the keeper.
Scored a terrific header at the weekend at Chelsea. It's another brilliant header tonight because he just runs across the edge of the 6-yard box, darts towards the near post, heads it down into the ground. Kelleher can't react to it, and Arsenal are celebrating the opening goal of the evening. Terrific from Mikel Merino, and he's been such a terrific option. 2 against Slavia Prague, 1 against Chelsea, 1 against Newcastle, and now 1 tonight against Brentford.
Yeah, just the start Arsenal needed, without a doubt. As I say, Brentford have been pretty dogged, good shape about what they're doing, but you can always tell that Madueke has got his tail up at the moment, receiving a lot of the ball, and this right-hand side will be very fruitful for Arsenal.
Well, no Gyökeres in the starting lineup tonight. He's only on the bench, but Merino doing a very good job. Here's Coyote getting forward on the right for Brentford, though, as they look to respond. Ouattara takes over, gets to the byline, tries to pull it back, and it's cleared by Calafiori and put out over on the far side. This is Talksport. And Arteta knows that Brentford won't roll over and have their tummies tickled. Different threats, different weapons. You have to dominate them. You have to try and force them back in order to win the game. And they're always going to be a threat from set pieces and long throws into the box. And Coyote's got the ball in his hand again for another touchline torpedo. He's over on the far side, just 7 yards from the corner flag. The referee, Tony Harrington, just sorting out a bit of pushing and shoving inside the box. Janalt has now gone over to take over throw-in duties, which is... Oh, no, it's not a throw-in, because the referee has now given a corner. So Coyote was standing over by the assistant over on the far side with the ball in his hands for what, 30 seconds?
At least, yeah.
And then the referee has somehow decided that there is a corner instead, and he's placed it down. The assistant didn't say anything to Coyote, by the way. Janalt takes the corner into the near post. It's flicked on at that near post by Redhead, but it eventually is cleared at the back post by Mosquera. Goes back into the centre circle, and Jensen recycles it. Vitaly Janalt again far side. And he hasn't played too much football from the start this season. All of his Premier League appearances before today have come from the bench. He plays it back to Matthias Jensen. And then it's into Janalt once more, over on that far side. Left-footed, a high ball into the box, looking for Pinnock. It's over his head. It's going to run out of play over on the far side. Pinnock tried to stop it from doing so. It goes out for a throw by the corner flag, and it remains 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Yeah, as I say, good solid start for Arsenal. Couple of changes, and as a manager, you're thinking to yourself, well, I hope I've not sent a bad message out to the squad that this isn't an important game, but it's the start they were looking for.
Yeah, but Arsenal's changes, although they have arguably weakened the team by not having someone like Saka in it, and I think if you take Saka out, you're always weakening your team. Taking Eze out of the team, taking Timber, who's one of the most consistent players, out of the team. The depth of the squad is such that, you know, bringing in Ben White, Martin Odegaard, the captain, and Noni Madueke, England international, is not exactly a huge drop-off. And many years ago, when they were first challenging for the title, when they made these changes, it was.
Yeah, and that probably tells you the depth of this squad, the ability of the squad, you know, to name but a few that have come out. Obviously, the centre-half pairings as well being missing tonight. So whether that causes a problem, time will tell.
Ouattara picking it up for Brentford, who have elected to make more significant changes, I think, to their team. They've changed the structure of it tonight. Out towards Ouattara from Coyote, but he's overhit his pass, and Ouattara, the Burkina Faso international, just scurrying towards the corner flag to keep it in, has to put it out for an Arsenal throw over on the left-hand side. Henderson Damsgaard, and their top scorer, Igor Thiago, is on the bench this evening, and only Erling Haaland, Harry Kane and Kylian Mbappe have scored more goals in Europe's top 5 leagues than Igor Thiago this season, but he's warming the bench tonight. Keith Andrews saying that it was just that time of the season when you have to rest and rotate, and I think you've been in charge of clubs, you've been an assistant at clubs where, you know, it's always going to be difficult for you to go to these big grounds. Do you think that's the right way of approaching it if you're trying to manage a month rather than a match?
Well, I always think if you're a Brentford or I wouldn't be disrespectful and say a lesser light, but you're better off, I think, resting against the big six in games that you can play, be absolutely outstanding and still get beaten, because the games that are going to influence their season are against the teams in and around them.
Martinelli picks it up, feeds Odegaard, a lovely little bit of footwork from Madueke, who shifts it onto his left foot, drives it goalwards. It's saved by Queven Kelleher. Excellent from Madueke. A little bit of Madueke magic down in the right corner of the field. He shuffled it between his feet. He beat 2 Brentford defenders and then hit it low left-footed, and it was well saved by the Irish goalkeeper.
I'll tell you what, he's on fire at the moment, Madueke. He's demanding the ball. He wants the ball. He's just darted in behind, just in front of us now, but he is a brilliant outlet for Arsenal, really is.
Yeah, I think Thomas Tuchel absolutely loves him as well, and he will almost be a dead cert for the World Cup squad. Here's Martinelli, gathering pace, running up to the edge of the area, feeding it to White. White inside the penalty area now, right-footed, sends it into the near post and hits the side netting. I think he tried to curl that round into the 6-yard box, didn't quite get it right, and it sort of fizzed off his boot and went into the side netting, and it was a bit of a waste.
Yeah, I think that was just poor technique. He sort of hit across the ball with his laces. If you are curling it into that area, it's got to be the inside of your foot. I don't know what he was attempting, to be fair.
I was trying to be kind there.
Well, weren't you just?
He hasn't had much football this season as Ben White. He's sort of falling down the pecking order just a little bit. He can barely get a game at the moment. There is a bit of a suggestion that he might be, Mikel Arteta, open to selling Ben White in a January transfer window. Goal kick here, so let's whiz round our grounds once again and find out what's happening up and down the country. Remember, all the games are available on the Talksport app tonight, including Brighton against Aston Villa. And reporting for us, Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 1, Villa 0. John Paul Van Heck's goal early on survived a VAR check on a handball. Since then, Brighton have been pretty comfortable. Brighton 1, Villa 0.
Burnley against Crystal Palace. Mickey Gray.
It's still Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 0, but this game has sprung to life. Two great chances through Esteve and Anthony for Burnley. Well saved by the goalkeeper, and Mateta coming very close for Crystal Palace. Well saved by the Burnley goalkeeper. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Off to Molineux, Talksport's Adam Bridge.
Wolves 0, Forest 0, all Forest so far. A Hutchinson long ranger and a Jesus glancing header. All they have to show for it, both off target. Wolves 0, Forest 0.
Well, whether you're waking up to get the Ashes score or the hottest analysis after a big night in the Premier League, Talksport will have you covered tomorrow morning. It's one of the busiest times in the sporting calendar, and only Talksport can bring you all of the football fallout and fall of wickets in equal measure. Join Alan Brazil and Gabby Bonahor from 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then me and Simon Jordan from 10 tomorrow to give you the full picture. There's no reason to go anywhere else. Nearly read out my own name there, Stuart. And realise that talking about yourself in the third person is never a good thing.
I don't know, I think it suits you.
Do you? Yeah.
I do.
You've had a couple of little pops at me tonight, by the way. That's
Why,
the
thank
second
you.
one.
I like to keep you on your toes.
Yes, I know.
I'm just looking at Brentford's tactical approach here. I think because Madueke is on fire at the moment, if I was the left wing back, I would say I'm just going man for man with him and stop him getting the ball to feet. At the moment, Rico Henry's dropping inside slightly and helping his centre half out and covering runs, an internal run of Ben White and the like. I wouldn't bother. I would just say to him, go and mark Madueke and stop him getting the ball to feet, because he's causing a problem.
Yeah, he's the most dangerous. They've won a corner away to our left, Brentford, and it's going to be Matthias Jensen to take it. It's a right in-swinger towards the far post. Mariah Combs gets a half-decent punch on it, but it's back in by Yanal. Comes back out towards Watara on the right side of the penalty area. He cracks it goalwards. It's well blocked by Ben White, who threw his body in the way there and deflected it behind for a corner.
Yeah, Raya got the punch to it, but Brentford kept it alive in the box. And a great half volley, but Ben White roared out, took it in the midriff and another corner.
The Emirates has been a bit of a fortress. The Gunners have only conceded 2 league goals here all season. They are having to negotiate this period of the season without Saliba and Gabriel, who were part of the team talk on the pitch prior to the start of the match. They came out to work with the defenders. Ball in towards the near post, and the header crashes against the bar. Sharda with it at the near post, got up the highest, and he flicked the header right onto the meat of the crossbar. It came careering down, and there wasn't a blue shirt to finish it off. That was a brilliant delivery from the far side.
I'll tell you what, when you see the replay again, you'll realise Raya's got a brilliant hand to it. That's going in. And he's tipped it onto the crossbar. Some header. And we mentioned earlier about Sharda. He's now standing in the air, and if you leave him loose, he will get on the end of things.
And that's the difference, isn't it? You know, you expect in those circumstances Arsenal to marshal those set pieces. But that's a goal conceded against Chalobah at the weekend, and then a real big chance for Brentford, rattling the crossbar. And I think you might be right there. David Raya gets a touch on it and just about helps it onto the top of the crossbar, does he?
He definitely got a touch on it, without a doubt. That's in. That's in all day long.
It's a brilliant save. It is a brilliant, because he sees it late as well, Stuart, because Sharda's right in front of him when he connects with it, and he gets his left hand up and he tips it onto the crossbar. That is sensational from David Raya. What a stop. Here is Coyote in the centre circle, trying to run forward for Brentford, who have just got a grip in the game, just started to get a foothold in the match in the last few minutes or so, trailing by a goal to nil. Brighton are 1-0 up against Aston Villa, still 0-0. Burnley, Crystal Palace and Wolves against Nottingham Forest. And the ball is picked up by Zubimendi and swung out to the far side, elevated into the path of Ben White, who's seen a lot of the ball actually on this right side, combines with Madueke again. It goes back into Ødegaard. Ødegaard trying to nudge it to Zubimendi, who's encouraged to shoot. He can hit them from long range. Rice tries to tee it up into the box. Martinelli with a header. Back out wide to the left and chasing it is Rice. He gets in front of Yarmouk and then sends it back to Martinelli. Calafiori's backing him up now. Came racing up to join the attack. He then runs across the 18-yard line, then tries to poke it into Martinelli, but it's cut out by the well-stationed Janelt, and it's cleared away.
Yeah, Arsenal are leaving 1-on-1, 2-on-2 on the halfway line, but the likes of Sharda at the moment and Ouattara have just not found positions to receive or run in behind. And just looking about that overload on this right-hand side, Rico Henry's playing unselfishly for the team. If I was in his position, I would be a little bit more selfish and say, I'm just going to get involved with Madueke and allow the left central defender to go and deal with other players.
Keith Andrews getting a little bit animated down in front of us inside the huge technical areas that we have here at the Emirates Stadium. He was almost marshalling his defence, like calling it out as they won possession there. Away by Sepp van den Berg, up towards Shardu, flicks it round the corner for Ouattara, and that's another example of like almost getting in.
Exactly that, and I think probably if Thiago was playing, maybe they might have had more joy at this stage, Sam.
Ball played forward by Zubimendi, spotted the run of Ødegaard, and he thought he could spring the offside trap there. It was just a little bit heavy, and Ødegaard's run wasn't quick enough, and it goes all the way through to the edge of the penalty area. 23 minutes gone. Talksport on this busy night of action up and down the country. 0-0 in every game in Scotland, which kicked off around about 7 or 8 minutes ago. Aberdeen, St Mirren, Celtic against Dundee, Dundee United against Rangers and Falkirk, Motherwell, Hearts against Kilmarnock. All the big teams in action tonight. Here is Ødegaard, 10 yards from the edge of the penalty area. Wide on the right is Ben White, and again his delivery into the box just not up to the standard that Arsenal are used to when it's Jurrien Timber running down the outside of the penalty area.
Sam, his technique's flawed. You've got to be curling them round the back of the defence as a fullback, and using that inside of the foot. He's hit it sort of straight on, and it's gone where he's aiming, basically. Behind the goal.
White with the block to stop Henry from being able to clear. He then heads it forward, looking for Ødegaard, but Janelt heads it back into a thicket of players just in front of the halfway line. The ball drops down onto the shoulder of Sepp van den Berg, and then Henry finds himself hemmed in on this near touchline. It goes out for a throw into Brentford, much to the disdain of Ben White. Keith Andrews, a little bit animated, goes running down the touchline. In fact, he went about double the length of his technical area, and they're pretty big here down the right touchline in a long padded stadium jacket. And I think that Mikel Arteta pointed that out to the fourth official tonight.
Yeah,
just sort of said to him, excuse me, I think he's stalking the touchline where he shouldn't be.
To be fair...
almost given away by Ryder Shard on the edge of the area as he attempted to play out.
Yeah, Keith Andrews' padded jacket is quite a long one, but compared to the late Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger, nowhere near the full length of his one.
Just in case anybody is worried, he's not dead. Here is Madueke down the right-hand side, trying to escape. There was a little bit of a push there. The referee, Tony Harrington, says there was a tug on the back of the shirt from Madueke on Rico Henry, and that foul has been given before Madueke can escape.
Yeah, I don't want to thank you for pulling me up on that one.
He's still going, don't worry. He's doing a lot of work at FIFA at the moment. I know you haven't seen him for a while. You must have had some tussles in the dugout with him. You must have shared a touchline with him.
No, the biggest problem I had was release of players come tournament time in the summer, because we used to get phone calls during the season. Tio needs 90 minutes. Could you play him 90 minutes? And then when you really need him at the finals, Tio needs a rest.
Oh, right.
Yeah, say no more. It's all right, let it go. Let it go.
Well, you've just tried to kill him off. So here we are at the house that Arsene built, and Arsenal lead by 1-0. Here is Martinelli, tried to feed the ball forward towards Ødegaard. There's a foul with a tug of the shirt by Ayer on Ødegaard, and Arsenal get it moving quickly. And White goes out towards the right-hand side and feeds Madueke. Madueke wearing gloves tonight, travels forward, plays it in the inside channel. A back heel to White from Calafiori. It comes to Martinelli, who hits it. and he drives it a yard over the top. Didn't keep his head down, couldn't keep the ball down. But it was lovely football inside the area, a lovely little interchange, and there's a bit of an inquest going on in the Brentford defence.
Yeah, there's an inquest because, as I said to you before, Rico Henry should be told now, go and mark Madueke, stop him getting the ball to feet. That's his job. And Jensen's turning round to Vandenberg and say, you can't just stay in the middle, you've got to come out and engage Ben White if Rico Henry goes out and does that job. They're 3-on-3 out here, but they're letting Madueke receive the ball, and then once they interchange a pass and movement, Brentford have got a big problem. Stop Madueke getting the ball to feet.
Dundee United have taken the lead against Rangers. It's 1-0. Celtic 1-0 up against Dundee after 13 minutes. Daizen Maeda, who scored at the weekend, scores again for Martin O'Neill and soon to be Wilfred Nancy, who's been announced as the new manager today. It's currently Arsenal 1, Brentford 0 on Talksport, and the latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Arsenal at 13-2 on. The draw is 6-1. Brentford is 16-1 to win the game. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+. GambleAware.org.
It's interesting to see Martin back in the hot seat of management again, isn't it? You know, our LMA union or association rep.
Well, isn't he the chairman?
Yes, he is.
He's the boss of the
LMA.
Yeah.
Brother O'Neill, we know him as.
Has he stepped away from duties temporarily whilst he's been...
He'll be back.
Doing stuff, yeah? Okay. Well, he'll be back soon. Yes, he will be back now, actually, because they've replaced him. But he's done a good job. He's got them back into contention. In fact, with that goal tonight, I'm just ascertaining what that means for the table. But I think it means they go level on points with Hearts, and they have a game in hand. Not a bad place to leave them, I would have suggested. Let's go off to the Amex. Another goal for Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 2, Aston Villa 0. Jack Hinshelwood will be the man who's credited with the goal, unless it goes down as a Pau Torres own goal. Racing down the left-hand side, he's trying to square it into the middle. Comes off Torres. No chance for Bizzo in goal. It's Brighton 2, Villa 0.
And Villa's next game is at home against Arsenal, live on Talksport this Saturday at 12:30. Stuart Pearce and I will be there for that one. Aston Villa on a terrific run at home. They've won each of their last 9 games there. 8 games there.
Yeah,
8 games.
I think we've got a game and a half on our hands Saturday, Sam.
Yep. And but they're struggling away from home tonight against Brighton. 1-0 here to the Arsenal. And 0-0 in all of the other games up and down the country, apart from that Brighton match, which the Seagulls lead by 2-0, and they've been in good form at home, have Fabian Herzl's team. And they're in front again tonight. So throw in on this near touchline. Arsenal haven't really kicked on after scoring that opening goal, Stuart.
No, they haven't. They've been steady away, and Brentford have settled into the game a little bit. But I think Arsenal, the key for Arsenal is keep feeding Madueke on this side of the pitch. And if they keep doing that, he'll create things.
Away by Ben White, up towards Madueke. Jensen heads it forward. Sharda chasing, but Raya is going to get there. Brentford are a low possession side. They average around 42% possession in the league. They sit back, absorb a bit of pressure, and then strike hard and fast on turnovers. They've only had 36% of it today, but they have had 3 shots, one of those on target so far, saved by David Raya. It was a brilliant save, and if he hadn't have come to Arsenal's rescue, it would have been 1-1. Here is Ben White, though, on the attack for the Gunners. Down the right side of the Brentford penalty area is Madueke, twisting and moving and holding and rolling and turning the ball when he gets to the byline in towards the 6-yard box. It's foisted away by Vandenberg and out for a corner.
Yeah, Rico Henry not been a regular starter this season when I've been following Brentford, but my goodness, we wouldn't want to be facing Madueke tonight in the form he's on, the confidence he's in. And unless someone helps him out, one of his teammates, or he works it out himself, he's going to have a long, long evening. Yeah, apps have been a bit sporadic this season for Rico Henry, as he sort of still nurses a way back from injury. There's a bit of a meeting going on at the back post amongst the back 4 of White, Nkapie, Mosquera and Calafiori. They now congregate on the edge of the 6-yard box and then spill and run towards the near post. As a short corner is taken, given to Madueke. He's trying to take on Ouattara on this near touchline. Turns it back to Zubamendi. Rice gets it back to Madueke. They're feeding him at the moment. His left-footed cross is a low one, too low, and it's headed away by Pinnock.
never had the elevation to get over the first man. But then a little back heel doesn't come off either, and then he wins it back, and White keeps it in. Excellent work from Madueke. On to Odegaard. Back to Rice, who joins the attack, bounds into the box, goes down the outside of the 6-yard box, and then centres it. It's blocked by Pinnock, and it goes out and away for a corner. Terrific run, because he feinted to get across and shoot on the edge of the penalty area, and that outfoxed the Brentford defence. It made them hesitant. Then he accelerated between two defenders and went down the outside of the 6-yard box, and then rifled the ball against Pinnock, and it goes out for another Arsenal corner.
Yeah, he cocked the trigger just as he come into the box, and you thought he's going to unload one here, and I think that might have been the better option looking back, but when he gets in full stride, he is some specimen, Deck.
FSA Men's Player of the Year, Declan Rice, as voted by the supporters up and down the country, presented on Monday night. Here's Madueke in towards the near post, away by Ouattara. It wasn't a great delivery, that. It's not a great bit of defending either, and the ball is loose inside the penalty area, with arms flailing, and eventually it's cleared up towards the halfway line. And I sat down with Declan Rice actually on Monday night for a bit of a chat during that FSA awards ceremony, and he was telling me about how difficult it is to get any sort of training in their legs at the moment. He said they're basically doing 20 minutes a day.
Yeah, that's all you need, to be fair, just to tick over, especially when you're winning games. They'll just want game after game after game, Arsenal.
Rice sends it into the box. It's cleared away by Brentford, and Coyote goes bounding down the right-hand side. Calafiori, what a fantastic player he is, by the way. He's excellent in both boxes, and he's a supreme defender, but he adds so much to the attack as well. He just pinched that ball so sensibly over on the far side. Yeah,
as I say, Coyote sort of run out of a direction to go, and he's almost like a runaway speedboat at times, isn't he, Coyote? He sets sail across the pitch on occasion, and he can look quite a sight and be a problem to the opposition, but Calafiori dealt with him really well there.
Yeah, he's a great player. You're listening to Arsenal against Brentford live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they are here for it. Arsenal lead by a goal to nil. Mikel Merino with his 5th goal of the season. Here is Odegaard looking to release Calafiori, and he's racing to the edge of the 18-yard box, but he's beaten to it by Kelleher, and he clears it out towards this near side. Mosquera swings it back over the top of the Brentford defence. He'll run loose in midfield, and Martinelli will hunt it, win it, nudge it into the path of Odegaard on the edge of the centre circle. Now it's to Rice. Can he curl it out towards this near side where White is waiting for it once again? White travels forward. He needs a bit of support. He's got Odegaard to his left and Madueke to his right-hand side. Madueke hesitates, plays it back in field, now gives it to Odegaard once more. He travels centrally and feeds Calafiori with that bit up and the rest down haircut. Long wavy hair behind his head and his number 33 shirt. Calafiori looks a little bit like the archetypal Italian stallion, doesn't he? Calafiori.
Yes.
Leaning into your narratives here, aren't I?
Indeed.
It's 1-0 to the Arsenal. Here is Mosquera. Back to the left, and Nkapie nudging it forward. Picks up to Martinelli. Martinelli back in field. And then given into Mosquera once again. White. All the way back to the edge of the area. And it goes to David Raya. Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. Brighton 2, Aston Villa 0 is the latest scoreline. And we'll be off to Burnley and Wolves very shortly as well. Here is Odegaard whistling around in the centre of midfield. He plays it out towards the right-hand side, and it's picked up by Mosquera. Mosquera trying to feed the ball down the right touchline. It's cut out by Jensen. And then Rico Henry nudges the ball back to Vitaly Janelt, who was a little bit heavy with his touch and had to scurry back and nudge it into Sepp van den Berg, and Brentford have it on the edge of their own penalty area. So let's head off to the Amex and see if there's been any sign of a Aston Villa response from Ian Abrahams.
Slightly. Brighton 2, Villa 0. Villa wanted a penalty. Maatsen went down inside the penalty area, nothing given on VAR, and a tame Watkins shot was saved. 2-0 to Brighton.
Madueke's had a great chance. He's run into the box on the right edge of it, steaming in to meet a Declan Rice cross. The England man went bounding down the left-hand side. He galloped in towards the 18-yard box. He centred it from the left. Madueke was arriving, but good defending from Rico Henry. Tucks it behind and away for a corner kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, Declan Rice just showing Ben White exactly where you put a ball when you break into these wide areas.
Corner kick to be taken by Madueke on this near side. Again, the 5 big Arsenal threats look to try and manipulate what's going on inside that 6-yard box here. They're going to come from the back edge of the penalty area to the centre as he sets to release the ball. There's a poor ball in towards that near post. He hasn't got the delivery that Saka has got from that zone. A deep ball in by Ødegaard towards the edge of the 6-yard box. He's headed away. Comes back to Rice. And then sent out on this near side for Ben White. White back to Madueke. He tries to take on the defender, Rico Henry. Gets the left-footed ball into the box, which is headed away. And then comes back out as far as Ødegaard. The pressure is on here for Brentford to stay in this game. They trail by a 1-0. Arsenal looking for a second. 37 minutes on the clock. There has been a goal down at the Amex Stadium. There in just a second as Ødegaard floats it up into the penalty area. Headed away by Coyote. Cleared towards the halfway line. And then Aya gets into a bit of a tangle, gives the ball away, and now Madueke is through, and it's brilliant defending by Henry to nick the ball away inside the 18-yard box moments before Madueke was about to pull the trigger. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, it certainly was, but I think Madueke, he should, well, there's hesitation in the Brentford back line. Arsenal turned it over, and when it was played through to Madueke, he should be putting his body between man and ball to keep Henry away from the ball. But credit to Henry, he managed to get back and just nibble away at the ball.
It's been a long time coming for Ollie Watkins, but Ian Abrahams, he's on the score sheet again.
Brighton 2, Villa 1 here. Maatsen down the left-hand side. Watkins 6 yards out. Bundled it home just ahead of his teammate Gassand. It's Brighton 2, Villa 1.
Only his second goal in 21 games for Ollie Watkins, who's on the score sheet and has given Aston Villa a lifeline in that game down at the Amex Stadium. A goal at Molineux, Adam Bridge.
Wolves 0, Forest 1. 5th corner of the night does for Forest. Igor Jesus with his first Premier League goal of the season. They are checking for a possible offside. They feel Ndoye, the Wolves players feel Ndoye was stood in front of the goalkeeper Sam Johnston. VAR's checking. Rob Jones is in charge, but at the moment it's Wolves 0, Forest 1.
Magoma has scored for Rangers, who've levelled things up away at Tannadice. Dundee United 1, Rangers 1. Celtic still leading by a goal to 0-0 in all the other games there. And I can tell you that it won't be long now before the 8:15 games kick off, and you can download the Talksport app, open it up, select live games, and simply pick the game you want to listen to tonight, because right now the coverage of Leeds against Chelsea is just getting underway ahead of the 8:15 kick-off, exclusively live on the Talksport app with Nigel Adderley and FSA Football Pundit of the Year, Lucy Ward. Here is Marino, edge of the area, allowing the ball to drop down and shoot towards goal. It's over the top of the crossbar, and it's out for a goal kick away to our right.
Yeah, I'm just thinking at half-time, Sam, I might have to slide down because we've got quite a low carriage here, haven't we, in the back row in the stand, and I might have to get myself a booster seat because the gentleman to my left here, he's got the stamp of the rag and bone man. Difficult to see the far goal mouth.
Yes.
Almost through his hairline, I'm looking at it.
Well, you can stand up. There's no one behind you.
Oh, there is. Look, the security have found a lovely little viewpoint.
Well, a booster seat. Is he? That's your job at half-time.
Teas, coffees and booster seats, please.
Yes. Or just a cushion will do, I think, for him. He'll be able to see after that. Handball on halfway. Aya is saying it hit him in the face, not his arm. Tony Harrington has given a free kick, though, left of the centre circle. All the games, by the way, on the Talksport app. Brighton, Aston Villa, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Wolves against Nottingham Forest, Leeds against Chelsea, and Liverpool Sunderland is just about to start over on Talksport 2 with Jim Proudfoot in the next few minutes. There's a bit of an issue here because Arsenal already without Saliba and Gabriel have got an issue with Mosquera. Christian Mosquera has gone down unchallenged inside the Arsenal half of the field. And that is a real worry, so much so that Urian Timber is immediately getting stripped and ready for action.
Yeah, as I say, that's normally... they've been tipped off, I think, by the physio that there's a big problem here. They're just having a look at him. Looks like a knee problem.
Now, you'll remember back in the COVID days, or the great COVID days of this Saturday session that you and Perry Groves used to do, where we used to talk about baking and old games.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe not the greatest time in the world, but we made the most of it.
We did. To be fair, we had a bit of German football on, didn't we at the time?
We did.
My next door neighbours used to pop in with a lemon drizzle.
Yes, and I used to see pictures of those rather than tasting a slice. Anyway, a little bit of advice from our esteemed colleague, Perry Groves, who is sitting on a bag.
They are, I told you. Let's have a look.
Yeah, sitting on a bag.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah, and they're on an elevated section, so there you go.
He's across the aisle from us. There's a man with experience. Look at us. I feel as I'm 3 foot below him.
Yes, well, there you go. Well, there's always a way to learn in this game. We're still waiting for Mosquera to either be replaced or get more attention. I think it is going to be a substitute, and it is Jurien Timber who's going to come on. So let's go back to Adam Bridge and find out about whether or not that goal has been allowed at Molineux.
Igor Jesus is going to have to wait to celebrate. It's Wolves 0, Forest 0. Over 4 minutes it's taken for Rob Jones to send Tim Robinson to the monitor when it was pretty clear he was stood in front of Sam Johnston and therefore he couldn't see the header coming. It goes back to Wolves 0, Forest 0.
Well, here's the confirmation of the substitution. Mosquera coming off, Timber coming on. 4 minutes, that check. And we've had quite a few of those, haven't we, where players have been standing in front of goalkeepers and obscured views. What constitutes preventing a player from the ability to play the ball?
I personally think they should clarify the laws of the game by suggesting if you're stood between the goalposts, whether you're in the eye line of the goalkeeper or not, you are offside.
From what distance? In the 6-yard box?
Yeah. I think that would be fair. I think that would clarify it.
Well, it's 1-0 here, and it's still 0-0 there. And that game continues on the Talksport app. Headed down by Madueke as we get restarted here with a long free kick from inside the Arsenal half. Arsenal making an adjustment just before half-time with the substitution of yet another injured central defender, Jurien Timber on for Mosquera. Here's Ødegaard trying to nudge the ball back over the top of the Brentford defence after going down the right side of the box. It's cleared away by the Bees, picked up by Henry, and he shoots the ball over the halfway line. Ouattara goes and gives chase, but Raya coming out of his area does brilliantly to send the ball forward. It's headed by Marino, and Arsenal immediately back on the attack. Well dealt with by Christopher Raya, who just nabbed it in front of Mikel Merino after the ball went back to Martinelli, and eventually it's cleared away by goalkeeper Caoimhin Kelleher. Just about to hit the 45-minute mark here at the Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal lead by a goal to nil, courtesy of that goal from Mikel Merino. And we're going to have 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half, most of which, actually, Stuart, are being added on because of that injury to Mosquera that we've just had just moments ago. There hasn't been other stoppages in the game, really.
No, there isn't. Are you a little bit surprised that Ben White stayed at right back and Timber's come on as right central defender? I would have thought the other way round might have been a better option. Timber being the first choice right back solves that problem. Ben White's used to playing centre half.
That's what I was expecting. I was expecting him to shift across a little bit, but Timber is so versatile, so useful. He can play anywhere. He's a terrific footballer. Goal for Palace, Mickey Gray.
Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. Mark Gay crossed to the far post and Daniel Muniz headed the ball low into the bottom corner to give the away side the lead. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Oh, what a story he has been, by the way, since he has been acquired. Daniel Munoz, he is a terrific right back, isn't he? And he says he has dreams of playing in the Champions League. Well, I wouldn't be too surprised if he was on a few clubs' radars in the not too distant future, but he has just signed a new contract at Crystal Palace. Here is Rice, centrally on to Martinelli. Martinelli now nudging it into the path of Ben White. Further wide is Madueke. He was a bit behind Madueke, who has to readjust and now take on Rico Henry. Comes inside and dances past him into the box, tries to force it through into the path of Marino, but there's too many bodies back there and he can't just get it through a tight gap and it's cleared away.
Yeah, what I would say about Madueke, I think he's been very effective today, but he sort of flatters to deceive on occasion. 3 corners have been really, really poor, not beating the first man. A couple of crossing opportunities as well. He's failed to deliver top quality crossing to go with his build-up play.
Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. Brighton 2-1 up against Aston Villa. Palace 1-0 up away at Burnley. 0-0 Wolves, Nottingham Forest. Leeds against Chelsea and Liverpool against Sunderland over on the Talksport app. Those last 2 games kicked off at 8:15 tonight. Celtic 1 up, Rangers 1-1 away at Tannadice, and Brentford have a free kick on the halfway line, which will be taken 5 yards inside actually their own half by Caoimhin Kelleher. Their set-piece coach is out on the edge of the technical area, and they're going to launch this to the edge of the Arsenal box. By Kelleher, headed away by White, drops down for Kevin Schade, far side the right as they look at it. They have seen one of their best efforts tipped onto the crossbar by David Raya in the first half, but it's mainly been mostly Arsenal pressure apart from that. But they do have a long throw right at the end of this first 45 minutes.
Yeah, good opportunity here. Coyote's gone over there, just about to launch one in, and they've thrown players forward, it's fair to say.
Yeah, everybody inside the 18-yard box apart from Rico Henry as the ball goes in towards the near post, missed by Aya, comes out to Madueke. Not the best of clearances by Madueke. Coyote and Calafiori go over to meet it far side. Calafiori goes down after bumping off the shoulder of Coyote. It's going to be a throw-in once again, so a second chance to launch it in the final of 3 added minutes at the end of the first 45 on a chilly night at the Emirates Stadium. It's thrown in towards the near post, headed away by Urian Timber, back in by Coyote, a bit of an up and under which goes up and over the crossbar, and that's the last action of the first 45 minutes. Half-time at the Emirates then, and Arsenal have heard their manager loud and clear. They've turned up, hunted in packs, they've got Brentford largely penned back inside their own half. They're looking for a 5-point lead at the top of the Premier League. But despite the fact that they do take the lead into half-time by a 0-0 from Mikel Merino, their goalkeeper had to do some work in that first half. His tip onto the crossbar from Kevin Schade, a pivotal moment in the match. Arsenal lead by a 0-0 at the break.
And as you might expect, all of these stats at half-time very much in Arsenal's favour. 67% of the possession. They've had 8 shots, 2 of those on target, but they have had 2 big chances in the game and expected goals of 0.61. Only 3 shots for Brentford and 1 of those on target. The one you mentioned, Schade, forcing the save from David Raya. Stuart Pearce, what have you made of that Arsenal first 45 minutes?
Well, I thought certainly the first part of the first half, Madueke and Ben White were exposing Brentford down this flank. The longer the half's gone on, the less that's been the problem. I think from Brentford's point of view, the 2 up front have had a couple of opportunities when they've been sort of 2-on-2. Arsenal push players on, leave 2-on-2 on the halfway line, and they've not managed to get hold of the ball to set up play. I wonder whether they'll turn round and bring Thiago on that might offer them a touch more up front.
They got the goal, went ahead through Mikel Merino to settle any minor nerves there might be at the Emirates tonight. But it was interesting to see Madueke and White combining for the goal really beautifully down the right-hand side.
Yeah, he's been top quality. I mean, the start Arsenal have had, and Marino's header was outstanding. But I would say probably Brentford's header that was tipped on the bar by Raya was probably an easier opportunity, let's say. But it's fair to say that Madueke's done extremely well down this flank. But his end product has been wanting. A few corners, in-swingers, haven't gone past the first post, and when he's got in, brilliant build-up play. He's a real handful, but you've got to deliver top-quality balls into the box, a la Moreno with his header.
Keith Andrews was up celebrating. He thought Kevin Schade's header had gone in. It was a great save from David Raya. That's the game plan, though, isn't it, to take one of those moments which will be few and far between and possibly hold Arsenal here tonight. Should he have scored, Schade?
I don't think he can do no more than get good contact on the ball, and you've got to give credit to the goalie. It was a wonderful save with very little reaction time.
OK, Stuart Pearce, thank you very much indeed. Let's get the half-time whistle. It's gone at Turf Moor with Talksport's Mickey Gray.
Where it is Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. Daniel Munoz getting a header at the far post on 44 minutes, but a good first half. Burnley have certainly created chances through Esteve and Anthony come very close, but they have played some decent football in that first 45 minutes, but they need to do better in the second half if they're going to get something out of it, because Crystal Palace looked very lively in that final third. But at the break, it's Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1.
2 8:15 kickoffs in the Premier League tonight, one here at Anfield, the other at Ellen Road, and there's an early goal.
It's Leeds United 1, Chelsea 0. Jakub Biel with a header from a corner after stacked shot deflected wide. Leeds have started a million miles an hour here. A couple of early shots, but Biel's glancing header and Leeds lead. It's live over on the Talksport app. It's Leeds 1, Chelsea 0.
Half-time whistle at Molineux for Talksport's Adam Bridge.
Wolves 0, Forest 0. Fairly desperate first half. Forest thought they'd taken the lead 7 minutes before half-time. It was their fifth corner of the evening. Swung in and Jesus with a header, but Ndoye was stood a couple of yards in front of Sam Johnson in the centre of the goal in an offside position. Probably should have taken about a minute to sort that one out. The assistant and the referee on field did have a conversation about it, but let it stand. VAR intervened, and over 4 minutes later it was eventually ruled out. Aside from that, Forest have had the better of the possession, the better opportunities as well. Long range effort from Hutchinson was over the bar. Jesus failed to forced Johnson into a save with a flicked header, and really Ndoye should have done better after Hutchinson scooped the ball into the box but couldn't get anything on target. As for Wolves, so there's plenty of empty seats in the home stands tonight. Not a bad decision really. Apparently they've had a shot, but I would say it was in the loosest possible terms. Wolves 0, Forest 0.
Well, what are the home fans being treated to at the Amex? Another goal for Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 2, Aston Villa 2. A mad minute for Villa, who thought they should have had a penalty from a corner that appeared to strike a hand on the near post but wasn't given. Up the other way went Brighton. Gruder shot tamely at the goalkeeper Bizzo, and when he threw it out to Maatsen, his long pass found Ollie Watkins. Watkins ran in on Verbruggen and put it into the back of the net to equalise for Villa, who'd been 2 down. John Paul Van Heck early on had bunged the ball home. Then there was a Pau Torres own goal when Hinshelwood down the left hand side put it across and it went in off Torres. There was a bundled in goal back for Ollie Watkins, who's now his second goal is being checked for offside by VAR. The reason why we had 6 added minutes was because we had 2 VAR checks during the first half. This is going on and on. Why don't you come back to me? Oh, actually, hang on. What's he done is given the goal. So it will be at half-time. Brighton 2, Villa 2. Andy Madley has given the goal. So Ollie Watkins, who'd only got 1 Premier League goal before tonight this season, now has 2 in 45 minutes, and Andy Madley has blown the half-time whistle. What a her first half at the Amex. Brighton 2, Aston Villa 2.
Absolutely sensational. Unai Emery was losing his mind over the penalty shout, only to see Ollie Watkins put the ball in the back of the net. He's thrown his jacket off aggressively. I think that was justice for him, and his side are level at the break. What's going on here at Anfield? Talksport's Matt Jones.
Well, it's Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0 with 9 minutes gone so far. Just the one chance of note from a Liverpool point of view. Szoboszlai letting go from 25 yards, but it was straight at the keeper. At the other end, Sunderland looked all right, actually. They got into the area down their left-hand flank. Anzo Lafille pulling the ball back towards Brian Bobry in the middle, but unfortunately it went too close to Alisson and was cleared. And there have been a couple of occasions where Robbie has been through on goal and he's been brought down and not got the free kick that he or the Sunderland fans were demanding. So the referee letting a few things run so far, but Sunderland will be pretty happy with how they've started. Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0.
So at the break here it is, after 10 minutes here, it is goalless. Leeds lead Chelsea by a goal to 0. The half-time scores elsewhere. Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. 2-2 between Brighton and Aston Villa. Palace leading by a goal away at Burnley, and Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 0. 66 on the clock in the Virtue Trophy. Crewe 1, Stockport 1. 39 minutes played in the Scottish Premiership. Goalless between Aberdeen and St Mirren, Falkirk and Motherwell, and Hearts and Kilmarnock. Celtic lead Dundee by a goal to 0. 1-1 between Dundee United and Rangers. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
So live and exclusive here on Talksport, it's currently Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. For the latest odds, head to Ladbrokes right now. You can get Arsenal at 2-13 on to win the game. The draw at 11-2 and Brentford at 18-1. If you want to look at the goal scorer markets, next goal scorer, Mikel Merino, who got the opener, 11-2. Martinelli, 13-2. And Schade, 11-1. And a special for a penalty to be scored, that was 3-1. It has now been enhanced to 4-1. Those are the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
So here at Anfield, goalless between Liverpool and Sunderland. That's live on Talksport 2. Already Leeds 1, Chelsea 0 on the Talksport app. Both of those games 8:15. Kickoffs in the 7:30 games, all exclusively live across the Talksport app. Brighton 2, Villa 2, Burnley 0, Palace 1, Wolves 0, Forest 0. Here on Talksport at the break, though, it is Arsenal 1, Brentford 0.
Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. 18+gambleaware.org.
Ho, ho!
Same.
3, 2, 1.
Same.
Oh, thanks.
Same.
What does Santa call his dog?
Same. Same.
One word. 3 syllables.
Same. Same.
Sorry, it's a bit dry.
New plates.
Ooh.
Treat your table to something different this Christmas. Visit your local IKEA now. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Incredible scenes here at the Village Hotel's Pub and Grill. Fans are taking their place in the fan zone with stadium-style seating, amazing views on huge screens, and we're underway. Lovely bit of dribbling there as she tackles the burger stack. Now they're getting down the wings. Sticky barbecue. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's hit the bar. And it's there. His favourite ice-cold beer. What a result. Catch every game live in the Pub and Grill at Village. Get in. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
Oh, he's really opened up the Sun newspaper there, Jim.
No question, Clive. Straight in the middle and right into the free pull-out goals.
Goals, yes. The ultimate football coverage with the best expert writers. In-depth tactical analysis. Unrivaled coverage from every league and all the latest football action.
Think you've said it all there, Clive.
Sorry, Jim.
Not to worry, I was reading my copy of Goals anyway.
Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday only in the Sun.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a tree, playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
This Christmas, McDonald's and the Elf on the Shelf are bringing festive tasks to your little ones, like writing a Christmas card for your postie.
Thank you. You're one happy helper.
Some fun, some food, it's all inside this Happy Meal. Until the 30th of December from 11 a.m. Includes one pre-selected book or toy while stocks last. Subject to availability. Fair ordering policy applies.
It's another day at Screwfix, and Sir Mo Farah is learning the ropes.
So, Mo, with Click and Collect, we get orders ready fast. So customers are out of here and back to their jobs in as little as 1 minute. What are you doing?
Dip lunches. It's my warm-up. I need to be in peak condition for when orders come in.
Love that intensity, Mo. Laser focused. You might even have what it takes to beat my PB one day.
Back in a mo.
Click and collect in as little as 1 minute. Screwfix. No stopping you.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then... substitution. His game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Sub, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boost. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+gambleaware.org.
Kick off live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Initiate adrenaline pumps. Kick off live on Talksport.
Lovely back heel by Madueke into White, floats across it towards Marino, who arrives and heads the ball down and celebrates the first goal of the night. 10 minutes gone, Mikel Marino at it again. It's another terrific header. It's his 5th goal of the season, but he is a major asset for this team, and Arsenal are already in front.
So Mikel Marino's goal, the difference in the first half at the Emirates. Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. His 10th goal for club and country during this campaign. The makeshift centre forward, I guess proving his manager right for selecting him up front. Back-to-back goals, Chelsea at the weekend, and once again this evening. It's put Arsenal in a fairly comfortable position, although they have been given a big warning shot from Kevin Schade and Brentford. It was a great save from David Raya onto the crossbar, and they'll have to watch out, particularly from those set pieces in the second half. They want to get their second as soon as possible. Let's head back to the Emirates with a quick word with Stuart Pearce. Stuart, what are you expecting Brentford to do here at the break? They've sat back a lot. They've been okay defensively as well. Is it stick or twist time?
I think Keith Andrews will be reasonably happy with the way things have gone. I don't think they've been totally dominated. I think Arsenal have took their foot off the gas slightly as the half's gone on. And for me, the question mark will be, when do I introduce Thiago into that front line to really try and have a go at chasing the game? And they need to do it before they potentially concede a second.
Let's very quickly find out what's going on at Ellen Road with Talksport's Mark Wilson.
So Leeds United 1, Chelsea 0. Jacobil's glancing header from a corner, but Leeds should have had a second. Another Anton Stack corner. There was Pascal Strauss 7 yards out. He's headed it wide of the target. It's all Leeds at the minute. We've had 17 here. It's Leeds 1, Chelsea 0.
Let's go to Molineux next, find out what's going on in the game between Wolves and Nottingham Forest from Talksport's Adam Bridge. Oh, excuse me. Matt Jones here at Anfield. Liverpool taking on Sunderland. Matt.
Yeah, we've got 17 and a half minutes gone. So far, it's still Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0. And I think it's fair to say that Liverpool haven't got going whatsoever as of yet. Isak, I don't think he's had a touch up front, and they certainly haven't had a chance since you were last with me with that goal, that shot from Szoboszlai. There is full coverage of this on Talksport 2. It's Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0.
My apologies for getting my fixtures mixed up. Let's head back to the Emirates Stadium for the second half between Arsenal and Brentford in the company of Stuart Pearce and Talksport Sam Matterface.
Thank you very much. Yes, welcome back to the Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal in a huddle away to our right probably need a second goal to ensure they walk away with 3 points and establish a 5-point gap at the top of the Premier League table. They'll be pretty pleased that Chelsea are trailing by a goal to 0. And Liverpool still locked at 0-0 with Sunderland. The other games getting underway in the second half. Brighton 2, Aston Villa 2, Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1, and Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Nottingham Forest 0. History is on Arsenal's side, though. They are unbeaten in the last 7 Premier League meetings with the Bees. Brentford did draw here last season, but Arsenal know that they are certainly in a position where they can't afford to drop 2 points. What do they have to do differently in the second half? Because they were a little bit wasteful with their final ball into the box.
I think that was key to it, Sam. Madueke was chief culprit. Three corners that never failed to get past the near post, and then beyond that as well, really done well with somebody's set-up play, and then the final ball into the box.
Martinelli trying to escape in behind. Coyote gets there first and guides it back to his goalkeeper, who takes a heavy touch but is able to clear right through the middle of the pitch, arcing the ball up towards the centre circle, chested down by Ouattara, and now Sharda on the advance for Brentford, watched by Jurrien Timber, who commits a foul. He was a first half substitute, there's been no others, and it's a free kick midway inside the Arsenal half of the field, just a shade right of centre. David Raya is the Arsenal goalkeeper, defending the goal away to our right, the clock end. Timber, Mosquera, Nkapie and Calafiori are the back four. So White, Timber, Nkapie and Calafiori are the back four. Mosquera was the one who was replaced. Zubimendi, Odegaard and Rice in midfield. Madueke, Marino and Martinelli are the three-pronged attack. For Brentford, Kelleher the goalkeeper. It's a back five tonight. Coyote, Pinnock, Vandenberg, Ayer and Henry. Yarmoliuk, Janelt and Jensen behind Ouattara and Sharda in attack are expected, after they've soaked up pressure, to provide a bit of speed. They will use set pieces and dead balls. They're very good from those, and they have already created one massive chance from this sort of situation. And Jensen about to create once again, right-footed into the box towards the back edge of the penalty area, and Pinnock coming round the back didn't really have a chance to deal with that because he saw it late. Ben White got in his way and it bounced through and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was another one of those free kicks, about 40 yards out from goal, but very, very straight. And unless you create the angle, you've always got a problem of not getting on the end of things and it just going straight through and out of play. Pinnock managed to get on the end of it, but couldn't keep it alive.
1-0 to Arsenal, cleared by Raya up towards Marino. Good strong header, flicked on into the path of Martinelli, hooked away by Yarmoliuk. Calafiori and Rice try to win it back on the near touchline, and they do that successfully, and they progress midway into the Brentford half. A slide tackle from Ayer puts it out for a throw. Marino initially was going to try and toss that one in straight away and get them on the front foot, but they decided to wait, reset and try and come up with a routine to open up this Brentford defence for a second time. Rice gets it off Calafiori, back to the Italian and then to halfway, and Nkapie all the way back to the middle of the Arsenal half, and Raya, who then fade the ball out to the far side looking for Madueke. His header up against Rico Henry is won And Ben White then goes out to try and continue his work down the touchline. It's put out by White eventually, and it goes out for a throw-in the left full-back position. Arsenal 1, Brentford 0 on Talksport. Brentford are always a bit of a paradox. They've dropped the most points from winning positions away from home, yet they are very lethal late in games, Stuart, scoring the most goals in the final 15 minutes. Arsenal will have to be alert right to the end of this match. I was showing you some of those statistics earlier on as the ball goes into the area now, and Ben White connects with the header and puts it behind, and it's out for a corner over on the far side.
Yeah, you just get the impression with the run of play in the first half and Arsenal not killing the game off after getting that early goal that Brentford are going to have opportunities, and Arsenal will be very aware that they probably need this second goal just to settle everything down.
Well, here is the corner to be taken far side by Matthias Jensen. He places the ball in the quadrant. There are 6 light blue jerseys inside the 6-yard box, a couple of others lurking with intent inside the 18-yard area. Jensen just takes 4 steps back, just slightly down the slope, puts 2 hands in the air in front of those Brentford fans over on the far side, and it's a long lofted one which is headed back across by Ayer, goes straight out of play. Actually straight out of play and away for a goal kick away to our right hand side. It wasn't the best of set pieces from Brentford, who are usually famed for those.
Just looking at the referee's position there for the corner, his position is probably just outside the arc of the box, and you would think with all the pushing and the light going on, he would have been better off with a position that's slightly closer to the goal mouth. Do you think?
Yes and no. Maybe he's giving himself an angle to see more. Maybe he's relying on the work of his assistant on this near side, who's standing sort of perpendicular to the edge of the 6-yard box as the ball comes in. But do you know what? There is so much for them to keep their eyes on now. I suppose the other thing is that he already knows that he's got the backup of VAR if there is something that materialises that he can't spot from where he's standing.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
We'll have a good debate, me and you. Don't worry. Here is Ayer onto Schade, and then scampering down the left touchline is Rico Henry for Brentford. He gets to the edge of the area. Ben White goes across. A well-timed challenge by Ben White, and he slides the ball out for a corner over on the far side. And it remains 1-0 to Arsenal, but actually, in the last few minutes, Brentford have been the more assertive.
They certainly have, forcing a couple of corners, and as I say, they've come into the game and they've got, when they have broken forward, got more numbers in and around the box. Just not been able to put anything in the box to get a clear effort at goal at present.
Here's another corner for Brentford, and they are racking them up tonight now. Matthias Jensen is going to take it. It's an opportunity to swing it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Vandenberg goes up there, but it's Nkapie away. It's corner number 6 tonight for Brentford. Again, well dealt with. They've had 3 shots, 1 on target so far. A big save from David Raya in the first half. And here is Ayer inside the penalty area after a flick on from Pinnock, trying to turn under pressure from Nkapie. Sends it wide, and then Ouattara plays it against Jurrien Timber, and it's smuggled around the corner for another Brentford set piece. 7th corner of the night, Stuart.
Well, I think that tells a story in itself, the fact that Brentford, and they've forced 3 of those in this second half in the first 6 minutes, so tells you something.
Mikel Arteta looking a little bit irate away to our left-hand side, a little bit nervous. He was quite amped up before the game when he was trying to rev up the troops ahead of this match. Said they needed the voices behind the goal, and they're getting that now from the Arsenal supporters, the Ashburton Army. Here is the corner, delivered by Janot in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's a brilliant claim from David Raya, and Declan Rice has made an immediate dart forward, and the throw is not going to reach him. It's going to be headed away by Pinnock, and then brought down by Jensen, but Timber nabs it, feeds it to Madueke. Arsenal leading Brentford by a goal to 0 on Talksport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Liverpool versus Sunderland live tonight. Search Now Sports. Zubamendi in the centre circle for Nkapie. Just a bit of possession now for Arsenal, who had been on the back foot to Brentford set pieces in the last few minutes. All the way back to Raya again. They're looking for an outlet. There's not really much movement in front of him, and he's gone very long again hoping to find Madueke. Rico Henry does just about enough to deal with Madueke, and the ball goes out for a throw-in down in the left full-back position for Brentford.
Yeah, as I say, Brentford, I'm sure Keith Andrews at some stage is going to put Thiago on, you know, to give a little bit of extra punch up front. I don't think Ouattara and Sade actually enjoy playing with their back to play as centre forwards as such.
Yeah, they want the ball over the top and be running onto it, don't they, really? Although Sada's been relatively effective in the air tonight, they haven't really had any other chances apart from that one that he sent towards goal and ended up on the crossbar via the fingertips of the Arsenal goalkeeper. That was a mistake that allowed Marino to just grab the ball inside the Brentford half. As he turned it over and played it down the right, Rico Henry reacted well. They couldn't find Madueke, and then Kelleher will clear on this near side. There are options for Arsenal on the bench as well, and they've got the likes of Eberechi Eze and Bukayo Saka and Victor Gyökeres ready and waiting to be deployed at any time should they need an injection of venom in the attack. Here is Jensen, though, for a resurgent Brentford, who are putting pressure on Arsenal at the beginning of this second half. It's back out wide to Yarmulke, and then in to the centre of the Arsenal half, and Pinnock, and then up to Jensen, and then out to Rico Henry. Far side the left now, Dongo Ouattara, who takes over and travels to the edge of the area. Coyote with a cross into the box, and it's too high, and it's grabbed by David Raya, and they quickly bowl that out, and Declan Rice wants to bound upfield. He feeds Martinelli being snapped at by Kevin Schade, and the ball goes out eventually, but I think Schade was guilty of just snapping at his heels there and holding the back of his Achilles. Martinelli felt something as the ball went out of play. It is just going to be a throw-in, not a free kick.
Yeah, when Raya just bowled the ball out to the edge of the box, Declan Rice sets off, and I'll tell you what, the power that he's got, he's just maturing as a footballer.
When I spoke to him on Monday, I said to him, like, it seems to me to be every year you add like an extra level to your game, and it has sort of felt like that ever since lifting the Conference League trophy at West Ham, then coming to Arsenal, playing for England in big finals, massive games, the set pieces, the chest pumped out, the dragging them up the pitch and pulling the team right the way through. He's a big player, isn't he? He's become a big player.
Oh, he certainly has. Suffice to say, I think he's England's most important player, personally.
Here is Marino down the left-hand side, onto Declan Rice again, who pokes it back to Marino beautifully inside the area. It wasn't a great ball by Marino as he tried to play it across the face of goal for Martinelli, and it's cleared out by the Brentford defence on this near touchline. But there, Declan Rice just showing you what a crafty footballer he can be as well. Let's go back to our fixtures up and down the country and start off with the game at Ellen Road. Any chance of a Chelsea equaliser for Mark Wilson?
Well, it still leads 1 at Chelsea 0. Beale's goal struck, and Tanaka have had good chances for Leeds. Chelsea yet to have a shot on target. Esteval coming closest when the shot was deflected wide. Leeds 1, Chelsea 0.
Matt Jones is at Anfield.
It's still Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0 here, although Sunderland have had a good chance since you were last with me. Alderete, a chance from 25 yards straight at Alisson. Full commentary on Talksport 2. Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0.
Brighton were 2-0 up against Aston Villa, but Villa have fought back. Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, Brighton 2, Villa 2. 2 Ollie Watkins goals. Second one right at the end of the half. Both sides have started brightly in this second period. Brighton 2, Villa 2.
Looks like Thiago and Damsgaard about to come on for Brentford in this second half as Calafiori makes a mistake and gives possession back to Brentford. Marino into the air. The ball drops for Ben White. Chests it down, takes it wide towards the right-hand side. White travels forward. Madueke. Well, I thought he was going to go for the return down the right touchline, but it didn't come off. Came back in field. Odegaard finds Calafiori. And once again, Arsenal start to travel forward. Here is Martin Odegaard. Slowing the game down, then accelerating as he comes in field. Plays it to Declan Rice. Rice now charging forward. He's got Martinelli to his left-hand side. He feeds the Brazilian who tries to take on Coyote. He runs up, goes on the outside, gets into the penalty area, gets to the byline, tries to pull it back inside the box. And it wasn't enough on the ball, not enough power on the ball to take it away from the defender. But Rice has won it back again. And Nkapie's backed him up. And Arsenal just on the front foot, putting Brentford under a bit of pressure, but haven't managed to fashion a chance from that pressure. Off to the game at Turf Moor. Palace loses at home against Manchester United on Sunday. Are they going to win today at Turf Moor? Mickey Gray.
Certainly looks that way. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1, should be 2. Jean-Philippe Mateta's just missed a 1v1. It was brilliantly saved by Dubravka, but they are on top. Burnley 0, Palace 1.
And Molyneux for Adam Bridge.
11 minutes into the second half, Wolves 0, Forest 0. Better from Wolves. Arias with a header 4 yards out. Should have done better, but put it wide. And then Sam Johnson with an excellent save to deny Nico Williams from a free kick. He'd won at the edge of the penalty area. Wolves 0, Forest 0.
All the commentaries are available on the Talksport app tonight. Just download it, open it up, go to the bottom right. There's a little tab that says live games, and then you can pick the match that you want to listen to via the Talksport app. Coyote beating Martinelli to the ball. We've got 3 changes here. Henderson, Damsgaard and Thiago coming in for Brentford. And Kelleher's just made a little bit of a mistake, and Martinelli has chased him down but not got hold of the ball. And Ayer has brought it out of defence and run up to the halfway line for Brentford. He's then sent it out to the right, and Schade is on the attack. He's hugging the touchline. He's got Nkapie for company. It's left by Ouattara as Ayer was coming behind him, but it was snuffled away by the Arsenal defence and cleared upfield.
Really good opportunity there by Brentford, and I'm not sure why Ouattara, unless he had a shout, I don't think he did. He just let it go.
Well, you can have your say on everything. You can have your shouts to Jamie O'Hara and Dean Saunders tonight from 10 o'clock. 03717223344. The sports bar will be open for business. Well won by White down the right-hand side. Back out to the far touchline, and Madueke can't control it. It goes out of play. And here are those 3 changes. Great chance for Sunderland. Matt Jones.
Certainly was. Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0. It's Trey Hume who has it from distance, and it's spilled onto the bar by Alisson and just about bouncing away. It's a safety. Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0.
And that game continues on Talksport 2. 3 changes here. Damsgaard, Thiago and Henderson come on. Schade is the first of those to be replaced. Eze and Saka coming on for Arsenal. So Mikel Arteta hasn't been happy with the start of the second half, and I don't blame him.
No, basically the Brentford cavalry's arrived because they get a sniff of a potential result here, and Arteta's turned round and said, I tell you what, if you can bring them 3 on, I'm going to bring Saka and Eze on, because I'm not sitting comfortable myself here that this game is beyond Brentford.
Well, it's all about starters and finishers nowadays, isn't it? And I just wonder whether or not the plan all along was for Brentford to make these changes around the hour mark. Madueke coming off, Saka coming on, and Martinelli for Eze is the other change. What difference will that make for Arsenal, do you think?
I just think it'll be like for like. Eze is not that sort of winger type player, so he'll tuck in slightly, I think, and look to overload on the inside. I think Madueke started the game really well and just faded away from it, didn't he?
Yeah, he's had a few injury issues, hasn't he, Madueke? He's still coming back from that medial knee ligament issue. He had 3 appearances off the bench. He scored against Bayern Munich, but he started tonight for the first time, and after 61 minutes he's been replaced by Eberici Eze, who scored that hat-trick in the North London derby and has been particularly impressive here at home, where he's created a lot of goal involvements for Arsenal since his move from Crystal Palace. 1-0 to the Arsenal, 2-2 Brighton Aston Villa, 1-0 to Palace away at Burnley, 0-0 Wolves against Nottingham Forest, Leeds still 1-0 up against Chelsea, and Liverpool 0-0 with Sunderland. All the games available on the Talksport app. Ball thrown in down the right side into the chest of Marino, who squares it to the edge of the area, and now Zubimendi joining the attack. Back out wide for Ben White, who produces a cross into the box. Eze is at the far post. It's brought down by him, sent back into the centre. Saka connects with it, hits the defender and goes out on this near side, but I think the offside flag was up over on the far side anyway, and it wouldn't have counted. But White getting down the outside, a better cross this time, went straight into the body of Eze, who sent it back into the 18-yard box where Saka swiped at it but didn't get a clean finish.
Yeah, as I say, Arteta's got an instant impact from his 2 subs that have come on, and well, certainly they've not come out this second half really, and it's been Brentford pushing but not really opening Arsenal up.
Yep, Arsenal have the lead, but they must be wary of the Brentford attack late on in games. They scored a league high 10 goals in the final 15 minutes of matches. And we were going through those statistics a little bit earlier on, weren't we? In fact, Arsenal are pretty good at scoring goals in the last few moments of games as well. So we should have some late drama here at the Emirates Stadium in North London. Given away by Jordan Henderson to his England teammate Declan Rice. He can't then repurpose that ball, and it's taken away by Yarmouk upfield towards the right side. Coyote supplementing the attack. He then gives it back to Henderson, and then he, who does love a touch of the ball, he's very good on it, is Jordan Henderson. It's the first time actually tonight that he hasn't started a Premier League game since the opening day of the season for Brentford.
Yeah, as I say, fitness has never been his problem. I don't think, even at the age he's at the moment, he'll want to play all the games.
Well, he'll be 36 by the time we start the World Cup. Many a 36-year-old has had success at major tournaments, and that was almost a bit of a mishap from Ben White, whose ball back should have been simple to Raya, but it was pretty tricky in the end, and Thiago was chasing him down. Here is Nkapie, deep inside his own half, sending it forward to Eberici Eze. Eze tries to go beyond Coyote, who is a bit Jekyll and Hyde, isn't he, Coyote? He can do some brilliant things, and then he can do some rather crazy things and rather unorthodox movements.
Yeah, he's an unorthodox player, but whatever he does with energy, which I quite like about him.
Yes, even that attempted tackle, which he missed by quite some distance.
But he done it energetically,
yes, he did. He put his wholehearted feeling and body into it, didn't he, Michael Coyote? They picked up from Fiorentina on loan at the end of last season and then signed permanently after a good spell. Here is Eze, who he's up against at the moment. He drifts past Yarmouk, gets pulled back by Yarmouk. That's going to be a yellow card. It is in fact the first yellow card that we've had tonight, Stuart Pearce.
It is, and I can't see the reasoning behind Yarmouk doing exactly what he did. You know, he just... Eze's gone by him, I understand that, and he's just pulled him back. He's got other teammates behind him, probably about 7 of them, so it's a wasted booking.
Yarmouk, the first one to go into the referee's notebook, and it gives Declan Rice the chance to craft something from a set piece. And he places the ball down, and this is going to be a right-footed in-swinger, probably to the back edge of the penalty area. And there's 4 who are sitting right on the edge of the box looking to run in and attack it, and Declan Rice, 11 yards in from the left touchline, swings the ball into the back edge of the 6-yard area. It's headed away by Aya and then picked up by Odegaard. It's the right delivery, just didn't maybe have enough power on it. Raya forward onto Saka, a first chance for him to gallop at the Brentford defence. He plays it infield, gives it to Odegaard, who's got Damsgaard breathing down his neck. He sends it wide to White. White's crossing to the centre. Marino went to try and head it. It comes to Rice, then Calafiori, who tries to make room for the shot. He does shoot. It's saved down low. Kelleher goes across. He combines with the defender. Marino went towards him, and Marino went down, thinking he was going to get a penalty. Didn't quite get one.
That's quite embarrassing, Sam.
Waved away by Tony Harrington.
It looked as though he's thrown himself on the floor. The referee wasn't interested, but I think things like that, there should be action taken against players. I really do. That was so theatrical. It was incredible.
Let's go off to the game down at the Amex. Another goal for Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 2, Villa 3. Comeback complete. Goal from Amadou Onana. Corner. He ran in at the back post, wanted it more than De Kuyper and Bifa, and squeezed it in with his head. Villa against Arsenal at the weekend's our game. Should be exciting. Brighton 2, Villa 3.
Yeah, and it's 2-0 Brighton were up in that game. It's now 3-2. It still continues on the Talksport app. Here is a chance for Marino to send it forward to Odegaard. On to Rice. And Ian Abrahams was right. Should be some game on Saturday when we bring you live commentary of Aston Villa against Arsenal from 12:30. Stuart and I will be there for that one. Looking forward to it. It's always a good place to go, Aston Villa. It's a proper old football stadium, loads of atmosphere. Looking forward to that. Thiago wrestling with Timber. This game not won yet for Arsenal. They lead by a goal to 0. But there's been very few goal-mouth incidents in the game, really. Coyote trying to get on the end of a cross. He's then just fallen over. And Calafiori has pumped it forward to Eze. Rice. Now Calafiori over the halfway line. They do lack a little bit of a focal point in those moments when they're looking to break there. Calafiori gets down the left, looks up. There's nobody occupying the central defenders.
See, the reasoning behind then, Declan Rice picked the ball up, drove, and he should just keep going. You can see the Brentford players thinking, I don't want to track him back. He's too big and he's too strong. And Deck should keep driving instead of trying to feed one of his teammates, in my opinion.
Well, 68 gone. And it's 1-0 to Arsenal. Let's just have a quick look at this replay to see if there is anything in the Kelleher touch of Merino. I think Stuart Pearce called it spot on when he said,
if the referee,
amateur dramatics.
The referee's called it right on the pitch, but you've got to book him for that. If you don't book players for doing what he's just done, they're going to continually do it.
Well, he basically saw that Kelleher was coming, decided to kick out at Kelleher to initiate contact, and then throw himself on the floor. Here is Merino, edge of the penalty area, finding Rice. He's got space down his left for Calafiori, but he goes for goal himself. It's saved by the goalkeeper, comes back to Merino, and he can't tuck in the rebound this time. It's wide of the left hand, upright. Goal with Mark Wilson at Ellen Road.
Leeds United 2, Chelsea 0. Altanaker's picked up a ball 25 yards out and he's lashed it into the bottom corner. Gives Sanchez no chance. Leeds 2, Chelsea 0.
Leeds 2, Chelsea 0. And that continues on the Talksport app. If you want to download it, you can pretty easily. Press the live games tab and then you can get that on your Talksport app. We've got Brighton, Aston Villa, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Wolves, Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, Sunderland on 2, Leeds, Chelsea, which looks like becoming a bit of a game. It's 2-0 to Leeds over on the Talksport app right now with Nigel Adderley. You're listening to Arsenal 1, Brentford 0 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. And a free kick given for a foul on Eberici Eze, and Arsenal still not quite resettled into this second half, Stuart Pearce.
No, they haven't, and as I say, credit's got to go to Brentford for that. I think they made it uneasy for them, and probably a decent effort there, and that's what I like to see from Declan Rice. Drove at a player, dropped his shoulder inside and unleashed a thunderbolt that the goalie's done extremely well just to parry out.
They've had chances to add to their lead but haven't quite done that yet. Raya under pressure from Dongo Watara, clips the ball into the sky. Aya wrestling with Saka, the ball bobbles off Rico Henry, and then Sepp Vandenberg guides it all the way back to his goalkeeper Caoimhin Kelleher. It looks like they're going to make some more changes here, Brentford. Hincapié heads the ball out from defence, picked up by Mikkel Damsgaard, who's just left the centre circle. He looks like he's older than his years, doesn't he, Mikkel Damsgaard, with his prematurely balding hair at the age of 25. He's thriving, though, in that 10 position.
He's 25?
Yeah.
Hells bells.
Why? What were you thinking?
I thought he was older than me.
Thiago puts the ball out on this near side. He clearly got the final touch. For whatever reason, the assistant has given a throw-in to Brentford. And there might have been a little bit of a push, actually. The final touch actually was on Hincapié. He pushed Hincapié into the ground. And Mikel Arteta was not happy about that at all. And he's earned a throw for Brentford on this near side level with the edge of the penalty area. A controversial one because he's going to try and toss this into the box from distance now. It's going to be another touchline torpedo from Coyote. In towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Headed into the air by Jurrien Timber. Still loose, and Hincapié heads it down. Chaos inside that box. Calafiori takes over, shoots it into the air, and it goes up and towards the head of Rico Henry, who now has the ball at his feet, and Arsenal being called out by their manager to get up the pitch and not sit deep as the ball is returned by Caoimhin Kelleher. Thiago manages to get ahead in front of Ben White, but then Timber comes across and feeds the ball up the touchline. There's a foul on Saka, and it's going to be a free kick over on the far side. Looks as if Keane Lewis Potter is going to come on for his 200th career appearance, and Nathan Collins about to enter the fray as well for Brentford as we go into the final 18 minutes of the game. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, just looking at Thiago there, just holding the ball up, you can tell he's used to playing with his back to play, and he's just offering Brentford that little bit more physicality and more know-how as a centre forward.
Just a bit of a platform, isn't he, from which to try and build off.
Yeah, he certainly is. And I say, there's no surprise when he did come on.
Sam Allison, the fourth official, just organising the substitutes. There's just still yet to come on here under the lights at the Emirates Stadium tomorrow night, by the way. Manchester United, West Ham, that'll be a good game. Live on Talksport. And Friday we've got the World Cup draw. Adrian Durham is hosting the World Cup draw on Friday from 4 o'clock. 2026 World Cup taking place during the show, the draw for that. And he'll be joined by Stuart Pearce, Alan Pardew, Charlie Mulgrew and Andy Brassel to bring you full coverage of the draw. England, Scotland and the rest of the nations find out their opponents. Here is Rico Henry, far side, the Brentford left, getting to the edge of the area. Damsgaard to Ouattara, allowed it to run through his boot, didn't control it well enough, and Eze picks it up, sends it back to Raya. Half-time at Anfield. Here's Matt Jones.
Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0 at the break. Liverpool hitting the woodwork late on in the half with a McAllister header that flicked off the post, and Szoboszlai seeing a thunderbolt tipped around the bar. But Sunderland will be pretty happy with their first half. They hit the woodwork themselves. Hume's pile driver pushed onto the bar by Alisson. Full commentary of the second half on Talksport 2. Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0.
Ethan Pinnock is off and Collins is on. Rico Henry off and Keane Lewis Potter is on. The two changes for Brentford. Collins, who's usually a central plank of that back line. Goal at Molineux. Here's Talksport's Adam Bridge.
Wolves 0, Forest 1. Take 2 for Igor Jesus in his first Premier League goal. Hutchinson's cross from out on the right-hand side. Keeper came for it, got nowhere near, and he headed it into an empty net. Wolves 0, Forest 1.
Wow. That's a big goal for Nottingham Forest. We'll go round our grounds in just a second. Arsenal leading by a 1-0 here on Talksport. And all the games available on the Talksport app. It's thrown in to Mikel Merino. Bounces off Damsgaard. Accusations of a handball. The referee's allowed play on. It's collected by Ouattara on the halfway line. He swivels and turns it back into the left fullback position. It's sent down the touchline. It certainly went out of play on that occasion. Still, Martin Odegaard is arguing that there was a hand over on that far side. The referee is not going to give it, and it's a throw-in to Ben White. Right, let's. Where should we go to next? Let's go off to the game down at Ellen Road, because it's half-time for a very joyous Mark Wilson.
Yeah, Leeds United 2, Chelsea 0. Leeds in front, 6 minutes. Yakabil's glancing header off the corner to make it 1-0, and then Tanaka's thunderbolt 25 yards out, right in the bottom corner, made it 2-0. Chelsea had one chance to lap podied straight at the keeper. Leeds 2, Chelsea 0.
Nigel Adderley and Lucy Ward continue commentary on the Talksport app. Here is Calafiori on to Eze. Eze, who's within 10 yards of the Brentford penalty area, plays it square. Odegaard takes it on. Over on the far side, Saka wants it. They take too many routes to get there, and it just slows the play down. He now accelerates, comes infield, looks up, tries to feed it to the edge of the box. Calafiori doesn't get there. Coyote did, and Brentford are able to bring it clear. So we'll go off to Turf Moor and Mickey Gray.
Into the final 15 minutes here. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1, but it's Burnley who are searching for the equalising goal. They did rattle the crossbar through Brund Larsen, still asking questions at the other end to try and get something out of this game. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Here come Brentford, and remember about those goals they score after the 75th minute. They love a little bit of late drama to Brentford. Here is Jordan Henderson. Brentford are pushing.
They've loaded up the box at the moment. They're just waiting for a crossing opportunity, Brentford.
Ball picked out to the left and Keane Lewis Potter. Back to Sepp van den Berg. Thiago on the edge of the area. Coyote has joined the attack too. Christopher Ayer has gone up to supplement the attack. The big, tall central defender. It's gone wide towards the right. Yarmouth with a cross. In towards Thiago. It's headed away by Nkapie. And it's out for another Brentford set piece.
A great opportunity now to launch one in there. Brentford... I think Keith Andrews will be more than happy with this performance here at a very resurgent Arsenal.
Well, Arsenal got to be really careful here, because they don't want to be in a position where they're dropping points again, as they did against Sunderland and Chelsea, and invite the chasers from behind. Here is the corner to be taken on the near side by Dongo Ouattara, left-footed, and everybody in light blue is inside the Arsenal half, most of them inside the penalty area. It's aimed towards the near post. It's a really poor one, actually. Rice has chased it out towards the near side, and if he gets hold of that off of Coyote, they're in trouble. Eze has nabbed it, and now they want to get it forward to Saka, because he's going to try and run in behind, but Jordan Henderson comes across, just holds the play up a little bit. Saka sends it infield. Marino's got a bit of space to drive into. He elevates the ball into an area of the pitch where he was hoping that someone in red was going to be. They weren't, and it just trickles out to the corner flag. It was a little bit of chaos all round, really, and very untidy from both teams. Turned over by Marino. Good challenge. Onto Saka. Now picked up by Zubamendi. A little bit of hesitancy in the Arsenal attack as they get up towards the final third, Stuart. They haven't been crisp enough as they've tried to get into the danger area. It's gone on to White. A little turn into Saka, who's got his back to goal now, trying to turn. He gets a little clip from behind, goes down. Referee says nothing. He's still fighting for it. He's kept hold of it. He's wriggled away from the grasp of Damsgaard. He gets a left-footed cross into the box, looking for Rice, headed away by Ayer. Drops down on the edge of the area. Now Ødegaard has got it. He travels forward. He gets past one and then sends it further out to the right. The pressure is all from Arsenal in these last couple of moments here. Sustained pressure from the Gunners. Moreno sends it wide to Calafiori, left side now, changing the angle of the attack and approaching from a different side of the pitch. He's under pressure, he's harassed and goes back to halfway.
Yeah, Arsenal have failed to get in behind this Brentford back line. They did it very early on, first 20 minutes or so, but Brentford have been pretty sure-footed at the back since then.
Arsenal 1, Brentford 0 on Talksport. For the latest odds, you can head to Ladbrokes. Right now you can get Arsenal to win the game at 15-2 on. The draw is 11-2, Brentford to win it 28-1. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes, 18+, gambleaware.org. 11 minutes to go. Arsenal in possession, deep inside their own half, with Jurrien Timber, who was a substitute just before half-time for the injured Yevra Mosquera. Christian Mosquera, sorry. He has joined the ranks of Gabriel and Saliba as those who are sitting on the sidelines now. And that's a bit of a worry before the Arsenal game at the weekend. Free kick given to Brentford. And this is just outside their area in the right full-back position. It was initially going to be taken by Coyote, and then he left it for the goalkeeper. Izzy didn't find you one of those cushions or booster seats at half-time, did she?
No, she didn't, no. We bumped into Perry, and he's given us the name of his booster seat, stockist.
Yes, he did.
On the Holloway Road.
You've had to stand up, haven't you, as a result of that?
I have.
Oh, well. Dear, oh dear. Perry should have really lent you his bag, I think. If he was being kind, he would have done.
Well, I don't know what he's got in there, you know. Maybe it's just a rather weighty packed lunch, you know.
Yeah, but he has got some dietary concerns, actually. Here, meaning he brings his packed lunch with him. Here is Rice. Charging forward down the left-hand side. He comes in on his right foot. He runs into a bit of a cul-de-sac, and it's cleared away. And it's picked up by Thiago, sliding it forward. And Ouattara tries to turn, but Jurrien Timber is alert to any danger that he might possess. And it's all the way back to David Raya. Hasn't been the most intoxicating Arsenal performance, this. They can't afford to drop points, and they know it.
Yeah, it's not easy to keep turning performance after performance out in the Premier League, that is for sure. And a little bit of credit's got to go to Brentford. Made it very, very difficult for Arsenal.
Yeah, they certainly haven't. They've made it difficult for a lot of opponents this season, Brentford, and Keith Andrews has been particularly impressive. But Arsenal are leading. They just need to get over the line here and put 3 points on the board. They fed the ball via Rice, out to the left and Eze. Eze getting to the edge of the penalty area, tries to take on Coyote. Coyote holds him up, takes it to the far touchline and then goes back again. Back infield, it finds its way to Zubamendi. And he who has had to just keep things ticking over feeds it into the path of Martin Ødegaard. Wide it goes to Saka now. Got an assist at the weekend for Mikel Merino. Has cut the ball back to Ben White, then on to Ødegaard. Ødegaard waiting to release White, who's gone down the outside of the box, but instead he gives it to Saka. Saka looking to get a bit of a room to get a shot away. He pokes it back down the right side. It's too hefty for White, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. Let's whiz around our grounds and find out if there are any further developments, because we're into the final 15 minutes at the Amex Stadium. Here's Talksport's Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 2, Villa 3. Villa come from 2-0 down to lead this 3-0. Brighton have thrown on Danny Welbeck. Doniel Marlin's coming on for Villa. It's Brighton 2, Villa 3.
And to Turf Moor for Talksport's Mickey Gray.
Still Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. Brozier has just came onto the field to try and search for this equalising goal for the home side, but it doesn't look likely. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Burnley going to lose 5 in a row. Declan Rice is down here and getting some treatment away to our left-hand side. They're preparing a substitute. It might be Victor Gyökeres that comes on next. Off to Molineux, Talksport's Adam Bridge.
10 minutes to go here. Wolves 0, Forest 1. Jesus' goal separating the side still. Adekadade is about to come on from it. Some extra firepower for Wolves, who are about to go 5 games without a Premier League goal. Wolves 0, Forest 1.
Leeds 2-0 up against Chelsea at half-time, and Liverpool 0-0 with Sunderland at half-time as well in the 8:15 kickoffs. All the games are live on the TalkSport app. Download it, touch the right corner of your screen in the bottom, and you can get to the live games section, and then you can pick the one that you want. We've had a little bit of a delay here because Declan Rice has picked up a little bit of a knock. He's just wandering over to the near touchline. He's going to be replaced by Victor Gyökeres, and that will just change the thrust of the Arsenal attack again. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, as I say, Declan looks as though he's just picked up a little something, maybe a calf strain or something of that nature, but he's put plenty of work in. But I don't think it's a bad substitution, to be fair. They wouldn't want to lose Declan, but Gyökeres, and he's penchant for a goal.
Well, last night, Ian Abrahams had 9 goals in the game at Craven Cottage. He's got 6 at the Amex. Ian.
Brighton 2, Villa 4. I mentioned that Daniel Marlon just come on. With his first touch, he scored. Won't go down as a goal and a month's contend. He's bunged it in from close range from a free kick. But it's Brighton 2, Villa 4. Villa heading third in the table.
Will they test this Arsenal defence at the weekend when we go to Villa Park?
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, Ollie Watkins... I'm sorry.
No, that question was aimed at you, Moose.
I think they will. Ollie Watkins is now looking confident, having got 2 goals. Marlon can't stop scoring, and they've come from 2 down here at a place where no one else has won this season other than Brighton. So in my opinion, yes, they will.
Thank you, Ian Abrahams. It's live on the app right now. Just download it, you can listen to it. What about you? Do you think they will?
I think it'll be some game, that is for sure, especially if Brentford manage to nick a goal back here. It'll put a touch more pressure on Arsenal going away to Villa.
We've got a head injury here, which means that we're going to have to wait for a little bit longer. 2 players are down, and one of them is in Capier, and the last thing that Arsenal need now is another central defender with an injury. Saliba and Gabriel are sitting on the dugout on this near side, behind the dugout on this near side. You've got Mosquera, who's been substituted because of an injury, and now Nkapie is going through concussion protocols.
Yeah, I don't know whether the physio's just moving his hand there. I don't know whether that's a religious symbol, is it, you know?
Well, I hope he's not giving him the last rites, no. I think he's just checking to make sure that his vision is correct. There's also Igor Thiago, who's down here receiving a bit of treatment after a clash of heads between the two. Let's go off to Wolves and Talksport Saturn Bridge.
Wolves 0, Forest 1, 7 minutes to go. Roll of the dice here from Rob Edwards, and immediately almost paid off for him. Matthias Mane, the youngster, on, and he scuffed his effort. It was going across the face of goal. It's the only real chance Wolves have had in the last 10-15 minutes or so. Still Wolves 0, Forest 1.
Any chance of a Burnley comeback? Here's Talksport's Mickey Gray.
It doesn't look like it, Sam. Still Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. Burnley are asking questions, but they just haven't got the quality in the final third. Armando Broz just came on, but he actually came on the right-hand side. Head scratcher for me, that one. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1.
It's a low-scoring affair at Turf Moor. Burnley have only managed 12 shots on target at home all season before tonight. If you want to follow the closing stages, it's on the Talksport app. Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. We're back underway here. Nkapie has gone off on the far side, so is Igor Thiago, sorry. So both these two teams are down to 10 players at the moment.
I think Arsenal will be in that mindset at the moment. Do we chase a second, or do we just keep possession football? And I think the way they've been playing this second half, they're probably better off just keeping possession of the ball.
Yeah, run the clock down, get the 3 points, take a 5-point lead over Manchester City going into the game against Aston Villa at the weekend, live on Talksport. They've got some big games coming up. Club Brugge away in the Champions League. Wolves at home, live on Talksport on a Saturday night. 8 o'clock, we'll be here for that one. Everton away on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock. We'll be there for that one as well. And then over the Christmas period, the Crystal Palace home game in the Carabao Cup quarter-final happens the night before Christmas Eve. And then Brighton at home follows that on the 27th. It's a busy period for Arsenal. A lot of games to get through. It's about putting points on the board consistently to achieve their dream of winning the title. Forward by Kelleher, out towards the far side. Chested down by Ayer, who's gone to left back with the changes that they have made. He starts to travel down the left side of the half into Arsenal territory. He's got King Lewis Potter just in front of him. And that goes out and away for a corner kicker. Is it on the far side, or is it a throw-in on the far side, which Coyote now is going over to take it deep inside Arsenal territory, and this is not what Arsenal want. Missiles being chucked into their box late in the game by a team that loves scoring at the end of matches and in stoppage time.
Yeah, good opportunity. They've never enough got everyone in the box, Brentford.
Coyote with a low trajectory in towards the near post, flicked on towards the far post, and it was almost through to Sepp Vandenberg, but it was just over his head. And it was well watched by Zubamendi and cleared away. One on the near touchline from Henderson by Eze, and he charges forward down the left side of the pitch. He cuts in and tries to take him on, but Henderson is too wily. He wins it, turns it back over and sends it forward, and it goes out towards this near touchline. Zubamendi infield to Marino. Marino coming forward. He plays it to the right hand side. Goes back to Timber. And that was forward. There's a goal somewhere. I didn't quite hear where it was. Let's go off to the Amex Stadium and find out if it's there. Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 3, Villa 4. John Paul Van Heck has got his second of the game from the edge of the area, right-footed, sweeping into the bottom corner of the net. It's Brighton 3, Villa 4. Grandstand finish on the cards.
Some game that. Here is Martin Ødegaard trying to win the ball in the middle of the park and feed it into Calafiori. Gyökeres is off and running. Calafiori has travelled a long way. He's got to the edge of the penalty area. He's cut in. It's saved by the goalkeeper. Comes back to Saka. He can't put the rebound in. It was a good effort from Calafiori, but he maybe just took a little bit too much time to get it away. And then after he'd executed the shot, Kelleher made a rather simple save in the end. But Saka somehow couldn't put in the rebound.
Well, I've got to say, Collins, really poor defending. Calafiori done exactly all the right things, got his shot away, and a falling backwards Saka couldn't get any power on it.
Good save by Kelleher. And it's still 1-0 to Arsenal, and we're heading towards the last minute of the game.
We'll have a bit of overtime as well to be played, I'm sure, with the collisions and the Declan Rice injury.
Just a little bit. Here's Nkapie on the edge of the 18-yard box, forward towards Eze. Didn't quite get hold of it. And then Collins, under pressure from Gyökeres, guides it back to Kelleher. And he feeds it into Sepp Vandenberg. Going to have 6 minutes of additional time, we think, Stuart, at the end of the match. If that's the case, Brentford might feel as if there's still one last opportunity for them.
Oh, they certainly will. Certainly if they get a throw-in or a corner, they'll throw everybody forward on this one.
Well, Arsenal picking up 3 points would extend their unbeaten run to 18 games, continuing their best streak under Mikel Arteta. It is 6 minutes that are going to be added here. And here is Mikel Merino sending it in towards the path of Saka, who's running between the two defenders. He's got into the box. He's shot back on his left foot. He's shot towards goal. He's stopped by Kelleher. He can't stop it from sneaking in. And Arsenal score. They win the game. And they go 5 points clear at the top of the table. Saka off the bench to score the second of Arsenal's goals. And they are loving life at the Emirates. Finally, there's a cushion. Finally, there's a moment to savour. And Bukayo Saka gets the clinching goal in stoppage time at the Emirates. Arsenal 2, Brentford 0.
Relief etched all over the faces of everyone sat around us, that is for sure. And he's shot, he's cut back, put two defenders on their backsides. Kelleher's got a strong palm to it. He's tried to get up and retrieve the situation, but he in vain tried to claw it off the line. But the referee signalled goal. So that was the tipping point there. Do Arsenal keep possession? It was the ball in behind the back line. Really tight on the offside, but he timed his run brilliantly, Sam.
Brilliant effort as well. And it was so powerful that Kelleher just couldn't stop it. He sort of pushed it up from Saka's left-footed shot. And it went over his head, went towards the goal. He got up, scrambled, tried to stop it from going over the line. But it just snuck over the white line. Arsenal celebrate, and Bukayo Saka, who came up with the assist for the equaliser on Sunday at Stamford Bridge, has goal number 7 of the season. And it's a crucial one for Arsenal, because it means now there's no way back for Brentford, and Arsenal are going 5 points clear.
Yeah, looked at the replay a couple of times there. I don't know if I'm being harsh on the goalie. I think he got enough of a mitt on it to have done slightly better and diverted it, maybe.
You think by pushing it upwards, it's actually caused them more of a problem?
Maybe to get a lesser touch on it and keep it on its way for a corner, if you like, rather than, trying to save it as such, which took all the power off the ball but kept it alive.
took the sting out of it, didn't he? But it then dropped behind him and then went towards the net. He then tried to pour it away, couldn't quite get hold of it, and it's out beyond the line for a goal for Arsenal, who lead by 2-0. You can have your say with the boys on the sports bar. Dean Saunders joins Jamie O'Hara tonight. 0371 722 3344. That's the number to call. You can text and you can WhatsApp as well. And then tomorrow morning, Gabriel Bonlahors alongside Alan Brazil on Breakfast with Sir Rod Stewart and Eddie Hearn amongst the guests tomorrow morning. And I'll be with Simon Jordan tomorrow from 10 o'clock. What's happening in the game at Turf Moor as they get into stoppage time? Here's Talksport's Mickey Gray.
Still Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1, but Amanjo Broja has just had a ball cleared off the line, a long ball into the area. He beat the goalkeeper to it, 2 yards away from going over the line, got cleared away by Crystal Palace. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Any chance of a late equaliser for Wolves? Adam Bridge.
Wolves 0, Forest 1, second of 5 added minutes here, and it's not been far away. Mane with the ball across the penalty area. Strand Larson was inches away from diverting it goalwards, and then Menetzi's shot was easily saved by Selves. Wolves 0, Forest 1.
Off to the game at Ellen Road, Mark Wilson.
Still Leeds 2, Chelsea 0, but Leeds just had a great chance. Nemecha 10 yards out, he's half volleyed it and somehow Sanchez kept it out. It was a great save. It's live on the TalkSport app. It's Leeds 2, Chelsea 0.
Live on TalkSport 2, Liverpool-Sunderland, Matt Jones.
Yeah, still Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0 here. No further chances in this second half, but Liverpool have gone to their bench. Mo Salah is on. He's replaced Cody Gakpo at half-time, and he has a point to prove. Will he get a goal? Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0.
Fascinating, left out of the game in the weekend and then left out from the start tonight as well. But on at half-time, Mo Salah. What's happening in the dying embers of the game down at the Amex Stadium? Any chance of a late equaliser for Brighton, Ian Abrahams?
They're trying. Brighton 3, Villa 4. Every player is inside the Villa half, and Brighton's manager, Fabian Hurst, is kicking every ball with his team. Brighton 3, Villa 4.
Hearts 1-0 up against Kilmarnock to keep pace with Celtic, who are winning tonight by 1-0. Dundee United are now leading Rangers by 2-1, and Aberdeen 2-1 up against St Mirren. Ball out of play on this near side. Arsenal on the verge of victory, and they know it. They lead at the top of the table by 5 points once again. It's a testament to their squad depth that they've managed this result despite missing their first choice centre-back pairing and losing Mosquera halfway through the match. There's been a goal at Ellen Road. Which way has it gone, Mark Wilson?
Lifeline for Chelsea, Leeds 2, Chelsea 1. It's Pedro Neto on as a substitute at half-time, and he's poked it in at the far post after good work down the left-hand side. Game on here, Leeds 2, Chelsea 1.
That game continues on the TalkSport app with Nigel Adderley and Lucy Ward. Here is Thiago on the edge of the area trying to find a way through the Arsenal defence. Damsgaard picks it up and sends it wide towards the right. It's collected by Yarmouk. And then back in field to Henderson, who whips the ball into the area, looking for Thiago. Headed back towards the edge of the box where he set it for Sepp Vandenberg. He cracks the shot, takes a deflection, goes all the way through to David Raya, and it'll be cleared away. We've nearly hit our 6 minutes at the end of the match. Arsenal about to secure all 3 points and win yet another game. 18 unbeaten under Mikel Arteta. It's a terrific record. There is Tony Harrington's whistle. It's full time at the Emirates. Arsenal have answered their manager with something feral, something physical. They've had a huge amount of physical output in order to get over the line here. It's seen all over the pitch with players dropping to their knees. They know they've had to work incredibly hard to get over the line against this Brentford team. They've circled, they've pounced, and they have eventually eaten up Brentford and taken all 3 points. They are kings of this concrete savannah. They stride away 5 points clear at the top of the table, putting daylight between themselves and Manchester City and the other predators still lurking in the long grass. There's going to be a long way to go, but after Mikel Merino put them in front after 11 minutes, the game swung and ebbed, and they couldn't get that second goal until the first minute of stoppage time, when Saka secured the points with an effort that maybe Kelleher should have done better with Stuart Pearce, but in the end, Arsenal deserved all 3.
Yeah, they were probably slightly the better team. Saying that, the stats, the corners forced by Brentford, they didn't really create too many open play chances, but I think from Keith Andrews' point of view, he'll be quite delighted with the way his team have approached this game against an Arsenal side that are playing outstandingly well at the moment. But Arteta and Arsenal march on, another 3 points, and they're looking the team to catch.
Well, they certainly are the team to catch. And if you're going to catch them, you've got to keep putting points on the board. At the moment, Chelsea aren't doing that. But of course, you'll be able to follow the rest of the action throughout the course of the night on Talksport and the Talksport app. But it's finished at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 2, Brentford 0.
Sam, thank you very much. We'll be back with Stuart Pearce in a few moments' time to dissect things some more after that win for Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, moving them 5 points clear, but full-time whistles going up and down the country in the Premier League. To Turf Moor with Talksport's Mickey Gray.
Where it has finished, Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. That goal coming on 44 minutes through Daniel Munoz. A great ball in from Mark Gay over on the left-hand side. And Munoz was there just to head the ball into the back of the net. Burnley did press in the second half. They did rattle the crossbar. But that is now 10 defeats in the Premier League in 14 games. And no goal at home in their last 3 for Burnley as well. They've got it all to do. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Wolverhampton Wanderers certainly have it all to do. Talksport's Adam Bridge.
They certainly do. Wolves 0, Forest 1. A win for Sean Dyche's side. First time they've won back-to-back away games in the Premier League for almost 12 months. The only goal coming 18 minutes from the end. Jesus' header from a cross coming out from wide on this right-hand side from Amari Hutchinson. Sam Johnson, the keeper, to blame. Flapped at it, having come for it. Made no contact. In fact, almost took Agbadu's head off instead. And it was into an empty net for Jesus, who had one cancelled out in the first half for a VAR offside decision that took an unnecessary 4 minutes. They were better in the second half, Wolves. Arias should have scored in the opening exchanges. A header from 4 yards out, but he bounced wide of the goal away to our left-hand side. That's now 8 defeats in a row in all competitions, 18 without a win in the Premier League, and 5 games without a goal for Wolves, who stay rooted to the foot of the table. Forest, for now, are 16th on 15 points. Full-time here, Wolves 0, Forest 1.
Plenty of time added on at the Amex. Let's head back to the Emirates to speak to Stuart Pearce after that important win for Arsenal. They bounced back after their draw against Chelsea last time out. They're 5 points clear after 14 games. And Stuart, it felt like some felt that Arsenal a couple of years back were too attacking. They were much better, much more pretty on the eye. They then became a very defensive side. Is this team now ruthlessly efficient and the best of both worlds?
I think that just about sums Arsenal up. You know, they can win games and get over the line when they've not played particularly well. They've got a bit of everything. I think if Brentford would have pulled a goal back, we would have seen a better class of performance from Arsenal chasing the victory. But listen, they'll come away from this knowing they weren't at their best but got 3 points.
Mosquera went off injured earlier in the game. They've obviously got Gabriel and Saliba out, but they got a clean sheet this evening. How important is it for them that they improve their defensive stability, with this being their first clean sheet in the past 4 games?
Yeah, which is unlike Arsenal. Normally when you think of Arsenal, you think of the stability at the back, and then on top of that there's flair within the team. But certainly every time you get a clean sheet as a manager, you're delighted, and they know full well when you look at the front edge of their team and the subs coming off the bench, one of them, Saka, getting a goal.
I think the good thing for Mikel Arteta's side, there were so many that said, why were they making so many defensive signings if Saliba, Gabriel are going to be out, and Saliba may well be back by the weekend, but Mosquera going off injured this afternoon. But you see the back 4 that they had, despite those 3 players being missing, and there is plenty of defensive quality there to carry them through that period.
Yeah, there certainly is, and especially when you look at the heart of defence, as you say, 2 players out, they put 2 centre-halves in, cop an injury for one, but they've still got the ability to play Timber at the heart of defence, and I thought he played quite well when he come on and played there, or Ben White to play at the heart of defence, so they've got enough central defensive cover.
Attacking wise, again, it wasn't Arsenal at their brilliant best, but Bukayo Saka came off the bench. He got the goal that I guess put the icing on the cake and made sure it was going to be all 3 points very late on. Mikel Merino, their makeshift number 9, getting the opener in the first half. What do you make of the Arsenal attack right now? They did score 2 goals this evening. Could we see still a little bit more from them, especially as they go to Villa Park at the weekend, where they'll need to be at their best?
I think in that centre-forward position would be the question mark for me slightly. But what you would say in the wide areas, they're interchangeable and got some real talent in the wide areas that will and can create situations. Gyökeres will take a little while to settle in. I'm sure he will get better and better. And in the meantime, Moreno took his goal extremely well and worked tirelessly for the team.
I want to know your thoughts ahead of that game at Villa Park at the weekend. But first, let's find out how Unai Emery's side got on this evening, full-time at the Amex with Ian Abrahams.
They made it 6 wins in all competitions, straight wins in all competitions, but a 4-3 win here, having to come from 2-0 down. They had to replace their goalkeeper before the game. Bizot coming in for the injured Martinez. Soon he was picking the ball out of his net when John Paul Van Hecker, after 9 minutes, bundled the ball home. 2-0 when Pau Torres owned goal, double Brighton's lead. Ollie Watkins scrambled 1 in 10 minutes before half-time, and 7 minutes into added time at the end of the half, got his second. Onana and Marlon added 2 more for Villa, the latter having just come on as sub. Van Heck swept in a Brighton third to reduce the arrears to 4-3, and then Bizza came up with a fantastic save in injury time to deny Danny Welbeck with a header from close range. Brilliant entertainment. Brighton's first home defeat of the season. Villa up to third and really making a statement now under Unai Emery. Finished here, Brighton 3, Aston Villa 4.
Will they make a statement at the weekend? It certainly would be one if they can get another victory and beat Arsenal at home. It's live and exclusive to you Saturday lunchtime here on Talksport as Aston Villa host Arsenal. Stuart Pearce, mouth-watering clash now between those two, but the 5-point gap, I think, means that Arsenal, had it dropped to 3, let's put it that way, I think there would have been big pressure on them going into the game. They've managed to keep the pressure off them slightly and can maybe go there feeling very good against the Aston Villa side, who's very much in form.
Yeah, they've got the points buffer at the top of the table, but the bottom line is, with the pressure put on Arteta and Arsenal to have a real tilt at the Premier League title this year, and the start they've had, and maybe the lacking of form of Liverpool and the inconsistency maybe of Chelsea, it's a fantastic year for them. But I'll tell you what, it's a mouth-watering game at the weekend. It really is. Villa are a tough nut to crack at the best of times. They're free scoring, they're winning games, and I'm really looking forward to this one.
They showed real tenacity this evening to come from 2 goals down to win 4-2 at Brighton. A big win for them, big win for Arsenal. So let's pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
So, Stuart Pearce, who have you gone for?
Well, I think there was some decent performances. No real massively standout performance, I've got to say. But the one who caught my eye consistently was Calafiori. I thought he played really well for the 90 minutes.
Ricardo Calafiori, our Here For It hero, man of the match from tonight's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.